Hello there, hello there, hello there, YouTube. Forgot to put the fucking lamp on. Jesus, it's going well. Welcome to the Lesbian Kangaroo Hour. I am Kevin Logan. I like to jump about in the bush. That joke works on two levels. And joining me, as ever, it wouldn't be a happy show without her. Or a happy hour show, even, without her. And, yeah, she is the sapphic marsupial of academia. It's Dr. Kristi Winters.
So what happens oftentimes when Kevin does these random things is that he's riffing off stuff that happened before the show, and yeah. Do you want to discuss your fantasy about?
Doesn't make any sense to anyone else, but I do that joke just for me and you. Hilarious.
Also, love the image out there. Anyway, it was just about lesbian kangaroos.
We were talking about lesbian kangaroos. You don't need any more context than that.
What's this we stuff? You were talking about lesbian kangaroos.
Oh, it's the royal we. We were talking.
The royal we?
We were talking about kangaroos. I believe a bandicoot is a marsupial. Yes, I believe. But so is a kangaroo. So, anyway, yes. Before we even do anything, I need to address a thing. The links are in the description to the thing I'm about to describe. I usually do a silly intro, where I'll say it's 7 PM in the UK, 2 PM on the east coast of American land, and 7 AM in Fiji, right? Which is based on a silly joke I did one time, but it just sort of stuck in my head. But there's a serious thing about Fiji. Cyclone Yaza has devastated parts of Fiji and Tonga and Samoa and various other South Pacific islands. So if you wanted to give some help, if you're feeling generous and you're able to, the links are below and you can go and help out some impoverished people in the South Pacific. So
cool. Go check that out. Also, for some reason, when you knocked your mic, you went a little bit quiet to me.
Okay, go and help Fiji. Links below.
That's better. Yeah,
okay.
Keep talking in that direction. That's perfect.
Okay, sorry. So yeah, I think it's when I turn to the microphone because I'm not speaking to the camera, so I'm not. So
you need to reposition it.
But then half of my fucking face isn't on camera.
Because you can't move either the mic or your camera?
I could do. But, Kristi, when have I ever made this easy for anyone, including myself?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, look at the image I've got on screen. It's fat old George Soros with a tiny bulge. With a fat old George Soros face on his belly. I promise you cursed images, and I bring you cursed images.
You do.
5 days a week, motherfuckers. Makes your fucking pull-out game weak.
Wow.
Although with that image on the screen, you're not going to get a fucking hard on to even pull in or out.
Violent, sexy dancing. What the hell is going on?
I moved the microphone about a quarter of an inch. Anyway. Just shows you the importance of a quarter of an inch. Now, what was I going to say? Yes, so, how have you been, Kristi?
Yeah, good. I mean, holidays. I finished up my online holiday shopping for, so I feel, I guess, like I've got something done. There's a modicum of normalcy, but otherwise, 2020 just feels like one long day.
It does.
So,
it does.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
Oh my gosh, how the hell are you guys doing? You've got a mutant strain of the virus. Everyone in the world is like telling you to fuck off. You're 10 days away from crashing out of the EU.
Yeah, that is true.
Bloody hell.
We are officially properly fucked. Britain is essentially an island of plague rats.
Hey.
There were
money.
It's not even. No, hang on. Was it? I don't know. Hang on. I'll get the dashboard. Yes, we've got a mutant strain of the virus, the coronavirus thing. So you're very welcome, world. You're very welcome. And basically everywhere have said no more travel from Britain. No. To the point where even people who arrived in Germany were sent back. And not just that, not just British people, all non-Germans that arrived flights from Britain to Germany were sent back. So basically, I think basically imagine Britain as a leper with a bell, having to go unclean.
Yes.
Gives you a fair indication of the position Britain's currently in. I think it was Hassan Piker described it with delicious brevity. when he said that the UK is like the US of the EU.
Yeah,
Beautiful. It's a beautiful piece of poetry. Yeah, we are properly fucked. So, yeah, if I suddenly don't start doing shows anymore, it's because I'm dead.
Hey.
Yeah, so,
resubscription.
Yeah, thank you to Professor Ritt, who's on a 5-month streak. Oh, outrageous. Yes, for subscribing or resubscribing on Twitch, which you can go and do below. Well, the link is below, but you can do it on Twitch. What do they say? Happy Demon Budgie season. Don't know what the fuck that means, but thank you nonetheless. I appreciate incoherent ramblings. It makes me feel at home.
You do, actually.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I see a lot of myself in that nonsense. Anyway, people haven't come here for small talk. They've come here for big talk.
All right, let's talk big.
Yes. Drama. We're all aboard the drama llama tonight.
Toot toot. Oh, I thought you were going to say train. Llamas don't go toot toot.
They don't. They go... They don't. That's just a noise I made. Thank you for following Burnell Production 500k. Yeah, that's the noise a llama makes now. That is canon.
Hold that out for your clip show.
Yeah, exactly. Just that noise. Just that one noise on repeat for an hour.
Like 2 minutes.
That'll get that channel off the ground. Anyway, yeah, go and follow the clips channel. I put out clips from these shows and stuff. And I might do some original content where I'm just walking around talking or something. I don't know, maybe.
Really?
Yeah, I might do. Just so there's something like, if people have already watched this shit, they might actually go and watch the other stuff as well. And sometimes I'm just walking around, I'm thinking, or driving around, I'm stuck in traffic, thinking, I could get the phone out and do, just a rant about shit. Like, Boris Johnson's a prick. You know, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people, that's exactly what they do with their channels. Except don't do like a Coach Red Pill. Like, set your camera up on a tripod, point it in a way that the scene is constructed, and just talk to the camera and then clip out the parts where you fuck up.
No, we're gonna have vertical screen.
Oh God,
the camera will often be pointing directly up my nose, and I'll be ranting about weird fascist shit for 4 to 6 minutes.
Yeah, telling your viewers that they're weak.
Yeah, you're weak, pathetic, fucking loser. Actually, I'd do that already. I don't even know what I'm saying that like it's sarcastic, but you know. What am I doing? Hang on. Yeah. Thank you to Corriv who followed on the Twitches. Anyway, enough. Big talk, people. Big talk. Jimmy Dore.
Yeah, give me the 411. That's an old 20th century reference.
Well, that's okay.
On the whole dramas.
Because Jimmy Dore is old and was vaguely edgy in the 90s, so that works as a reference point. Jimmy Dore, ex-stand-up comedian, although I think he still does the occasional thing, so I suppose technically he's still a stand-up comedian. Thank you for following Black Cowboy 945. Jesus. Anyway, I'm gonna read those out later. Okay, I can't be interrupted every 5 seconds. We'll never get fucking anywhere. Anyway, but thank you nonetheless. Jimmy Dore, a comedian in the 90s, 2000s, and now a kind of occasional comedian, I think. Anyway, political commentator, leftist, although stick a pin in that description. Political commentator, formerly of the Young Turks stable.
Yeah, he used to be on their show on the regular.
Yeah, well, he had his own sort of sub-show, if that makes sense. The Aggressive Progressives, where he and I think there was a couple of other people would be Aggressive Progressives. It was actually quite good. He was, vaguely sensible back in the day. Anyway, he subsequently left the Young Turks under, not a cloud or anything, but there was clearly some acrimony, although they did the professional thing of, we wish each other best in the future, But you could tell there was a bit of edginess going on there between Jimmy and Cenk. And so he set up it on YouTube, the Jimmy Dore Show. It's very popular, there's no doubt about that. I'm not going to take that away from him for a second. How he got that popularity, again, we'll probably analyse a little bit as we go along. And he's become more and more shit, really, over the years now, where he's... If you go into his comment sections, you will see a lot of what might seem strangely right-wing commenters, because he's like, he does progressive politics, right? Well, that seems odd, because they're not hating on him. Like, you get the right-wingers in my comment section despising me. Not quite so much with James, though. I'm going to call him James. I don't like the informality of Jimmy. I'm going to call him James. It's true, at school we used to call our gymnasium James. It's outrageously informal. Anyway, that's a joke. Jim,
Yes,
James.
yes,
Oh,
yes.
come on, people. Get with the fucking programme. Anyway, yes, so it's been getting more and more fucking weird and conspiratorial, and essentially has become the archetypal example of what I've come to call the burnouts. People who supported Bernie Sanders, and when he lost all hope in the world or something, and have now gone on a kind of... Imagine like a 15-year-old emo kid who likes writing depressed poetry about how shit the world is, even though they're perfectly fine. It's basically that in as political commentary.
Okay.
Where they just shit on the Democrats, whilst in Jimmy Dore's case, sucking Tucker Carlson's dick on the regular.
Well, on the occasion, I don't know that he's a regular guest, but he has been known to appear on the show.
And irregular.
In frequency.
He's been on several times. Let's just say, at this point, you've sucked his dick so much, you might be entitled to alimony. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying he's his regular, but he's definitely his side bitch. Come on.
Yeah, I think we've got. I sent you a clip of his video of what he put out in the last 24 hours, maybe 15 hours.
Indeed. Well, that brings us to... Hang on, I can get rid of George Soros for a second. That brings us to the last day, where drama... Okay. Oh, drama. The drama llama kicked up dust in the last day.
Okay, so basically, you still haven't kind of laid out the general thing, because I think you know it so well and you've maybe covered it. But just for the purposes of catching everybody up... AOC said she didn't want Nancy Pelosi to be leadership. Jimmy Dore said you should require the Dems put up a floor vote on M4A or you won't vote for her. Is that kind of...
Yeah, Medicare for all on the floor of the House, otherwise they won't vote for her. Right? Political leverage, so to speak, yeah. Which I personally think is a really dumb idea, because that plan literally cannot work, because that won't pass even the House, let alone the Senate. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it definitely won't pass the Senate. I mean, it also depends, and we were going to have this conversation, what do you mean by M4A?
Yeah.
Because there are multiple versions of Medicare for all. One is a public option. The other one is Bernie Sanders' bill. Well, the more extreme version would have made it illegal for private insurance companies to sell any insurance policy on things that weren't already provided for the government. And under his plan, that would include things like cosmetic surgery, teeth whitening and stuff. And so when they say M4A, I don't know what they mean by M4A, because there's a whole spectrum of policy positions between trying to make private insurance illegal by an act of Congress and creating a public option that sits alongside Obamacare or within Obamacare. This is part of my problem with when people talk about M4A. I don't know which M4A they mean.
Yeah, I think that's fair to a degree. There certainly has been a bill before Congress, although you were explaining off air that the in between Congresses, the bills die. So you have to re-enter it in essence. But it could be re-entered exactly word for word the same, could it not?
Well, it could be, but then it would be referred to a committee, and there would be a committee hearing, and then there would be a committee vote, and there would be amendments presumably during the committee process, and then it would go to the floor, and they would debate it, and there'd be more amendments that could be introduced and voted upon, and that amended version would then be sent over to the Senate, which if they took it up, it would have to go through the same Senate committee, Senate vote, and the two different versions would have to go to a conference committee that would reconcile the two different bills, and then they would both confirm that version. So It's a long fucking process. And actual healthcare reform has only ever occurred in America when Democrats have held the majority and a supermajority. Like that's how they got Obamacare passed without any real Republican votes under in the Obama administration. So yeah, I mean, it's a long-term plan to get a bill like that passed, and chances are you're going to have to compromise, and you're not going to get everything you want in the first bill.
Yeah.
Like everything in politics.
Well, I mean, look at the ACA in its passing. I would criticise Obama for not being strong enough, but whatever. Either way, that got watered down very soon.
Yeah, and
thank you, John Doe, for donating $1. It says I am ...
Yeah, and I think Obama was in executive branch, and so there's only so much he can do because it's actually members of Congress who vote on it. But it was early on in his first term, before the midterms, and he was still under the delusion that he was arguing and he was working in good faith, and he didn't realize yet that the Republicans weren't. And so the Republicans actively put up a front where they said, okay, well, we want this and we want this and we want this, and they tried to actually work with the Romney care basis, thinking that they could get some.
I'm going to turn the noise off. That's unnecessary.
Yeah.
Sorry, everyone, but that's really fucking annoying.
And so they made
I'll turn it down. Let's say.
Yeah. Legislative compromises in order to try to get Republican votes. And then the Republicans basically tried to water it down as much as they thought they could get and then voted against it. And then it was shown that, they had no interest in doing anything to help Obama, and they were just going to be intransigent. But that was part of the process of learning. That was the first good faith effort to negotiate, and then not realizing that they were evil fucks the whole time, which I personally think is a bit of naivete. But I think every president who goes in saying, I want to represent all Americans, will first try. Like, I think Biden's going to try and then fail, and then he will learn the same lesson. Because everyone thinks, oh, I can get things done. And then they find out.
But he spent 8 years with Obama not getting things done in the way that they wanted to. So he should have learned that lesson already.
Well, I mean, we'll see what happens in January, but I guess I wouldn't be surprised if he tries an olive branch. There used to be something called the honeymoon period. The first 100 days, where because of the president winning, Congress would sort of say, okay, you've got a mandate. And they wouldn't get stuff done in the first 100 days, and then increasingly it would get difficult. But Obama never had his honeymoon, and Joe Biden won't either. I think Joe Biden is still old school a little bit in that he believes in collegiality, and I don't know that he wasn't in the Senate when all that fuckery was going on. He was the person trying to mediate between the Senate and Obama. So I just think he is also going to have the football pulled out from underneath him like Lucy did. But they all have to learn. I mean, I'm predicting this now. They're all going to have to learn from getting the football pulled away from them. And Biden will too.
Yeah.
Because he'll be overly optimistic. And as on the left, we tend to believe in the goodness of people, even when the people that we're dealing with aren't good.
Indeed. Yeah. Basically. Yes.
Someone said Biden seems more interested in representing Republicans than progressives who voted for him. That's because again, you're not representing a party when you're the president. You have to represent all Americans. And so he has to find a way of not just serving one party, because that will backlash on him. He has to find a way of actually representing things, all Americans. That is the president's job. Yeah. Ideally, obviously Trump's not like that.
Yeah. Thank you to John Doe for another $1. Say, I am donating. Okay. Thank you. And Post Havoc, this is your Soros drop off. Praise be, and remember the thing we discussed. I remember. I'll keep it under my hat, but all I'll say is it rhymes with might genocide. That's what it rhymes with. I'm very cryptic, aren't I? Anyway, yes. So thank you for that, and I've turned the noise down so it won't interrupt us anymore. Damn you and your generosity, people! How dare you? Anyway, yes. So. That's the basic gist of the argument.
Yes.
So,
and someone says, yes, all Americans who seem to support medical coverage for all, again, as a public option, as expanding Obamacare, as making private insurance companies illegal, which they don't do in European countries. Yeah. I mean, here's the other thing about American politics that people should realize. there's a lot of things that the American people support that never make their way through Congress, like universal background checks. Overwhelmingly supported. Doesn't mean that it gets passed. There is a disconnect between people liking things and there actually being the political will to make those things happen. And that's part of what you have to understand when you get to Congress, and you have to work within those structures if you actually want to be successful. I mean, you can stand outside and piss in the tent and not get anything done, but then all you're doing is virtue signaling at taxpayers' expense, in my opinion.
Especially if you've got a toilet.
Yes, at home.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, the quartering, you could have just gone upstairs, mate. There was no need. Anyway. Yes. So, having discussed the serious matter, onto the dramas. James Dore, otherwise known as Jimmy by everyone, is... look, I'm going to lay this out for everyone, right? I personally support some sort of MFRA. I don't know exactly how that works, and as Kristi said, for anyone under the illusion that private healthcare insurance isn't a thing in universal healthcare countries is wrong. You can get private healthcare here in Britain. We've got an NHS. It's not. You don't need to eliminate it. Look, I mean, I personally think private healthcare insurance is a fucking disgusting thing that shouldn't exist, but it does, and we get on just fine. It's not a problem. So I generally support a sort of MFRA or some sort of, universal healthcare in America. You're the richest nation in the world that's ever fucking been in the history of our species. And yet you've got tens of millions dying and living in pain for want of money, which is an abomination.
Hey, I'll go on the record, and just so people are clear, I support a public option.
Yeah.
I actually think the best way to go about this is to provide a public option, because if it's a good program and it's less expensive because there aren't profits being put in there for the insurance companies, people will gravitate toward good insurance for less money. And they'll just take over a larger and larger share of the market. So instead of trying to outlaw capitalism, which will only end in lawsuits and injunctions that will drag on for potentially decades, plant the seeds now and then support it and watch it grow. That is how I think that you get those kinds of changes.
Yeah. Yeah. So I understand where Jimmy Dore and people, well, not Jimmy Dore specifically, because I don't think he's acting in good faith, but people who are, let's say, Doreites, if you will, in that, for want of a better phrase, I understand where they're coming from, and I support the general move toward trying to make it happen. The problem is tactical, right? The problem is the realpolitik of the situation. Jimmy Dore is just so badly wrong, and this is why I call him the archetypal burnout, because they're not acting out of any rationality. They're not acting because this will actually improve life. Like he keeps talking about, we want to get people healthcare. His idea won't get people healthcare. Not a single person's health will improve in America because of Jimmy Dore's, frankly, childish outbursts. And that's all these are, okay? He's annoyed that he doesn't get what he wants, and so he throws his toys out of the pram. It's embarrassing. Anyway, his former,
let's see.
His former employer, TYT, and still the sort of two head honchos of Cenk Uygur and Anna Kasparian, who are still like the two main hosts, the big sort of draws of the network, I suppose you could call it at this point. Anyway, they did a show on this whole schmozzle of forcing the vote, because Jimmy Dore sort of has made himself a part of this discussion, and AOC responded to him directly on Twitter and said, this is not going to work. And Jimmy Dore's been making hay out of it. To wit, we will get to the YouTube videos Jimmy Dore put out in the last day about all of this. But on Twitter itself, so the Young Turks did their show, and they put out this this poll on TYT. Should progressives in Congress withhold their vote for Pelosi unless she promises a Medicare for all floor vote? And 85% voted yes. Now, it's an internet vote, whatever.
Yeah.
But here's Jimmy Dore sucking his own dick. Big thanks to Cenk Uygur and Anna Kasparian for covering #force the vote and letting their audience weigh in. They overwhelmingly support the idea of elected progressives withholding their vote for Pelosi until she agrees for a floor vote. So he genuinely, this is, I mean, like I said, I'm absolutely convinced he's not acting in good faith because of his, again, he kind of does this weird thing where he thinks just calling yourself a populist and saying corporations are bad every 5 seconds means you're okay, hence his Tucker Carlson dick suckery that I mentioned earlier. He's not acting in good faith here. He's not actually thinking that this is a worthwhile plan or anything. He's just, it's about him. It's about making him the centre of the story, you know?
Yeah, exactly. By the way, Haruka, big fan in the chat, longtime viewer of the show, is reminded me twice now, or has tagged me twice into a comment saying, tell the chat about the time Hillary Clinton tried to get public option into the healthcare into the law in the 90s and how well that turned out. So yeah, I mean, this has been, that policy it's not a new idea. It's been floating around for a while.
Actually,
Clintons did try to, Hillary care is what they called it.
Well, that was actually, you can look at that whole thing, and I think that whole episode in the 90s when Bill Clinton was president, wasn't it? And she was first lady. That was some of the laying of the seeds for the vitriol and hatred towards her in 2016.
Oh, absolutely.
That the right wing had laid down decades before, in the early 90s, hatred. So that Hillary Clinton's name alone was seen as like evil, big government, socialisms, blah, 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 bullshit. Which had festered for decades, and so that's why you saw the incredibly hostile reaction from far right sources certainly, but from general conservatives and even some leftists. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
So
knowing the history is helpful. Like a lot of people who are younger might not know that. They might have been born in the 90s, and so they didn't know about Hillary care and how long the debate's been going on.
Technically, I was alive, but I wasn't really cognizant of that at the time. But I read things. I look at things. Anyway, do you want to read Cenk or Jimmy on this one?
Oh, I'll be Cenk.
Go on then.
All right. Challenging progressives to defy Democratic leadership and force a floor vote on Medicare for all is so obvious. I've been pushing it for 2 years. The question is what vote you push on. The one where you hand the speaker position to the GOP without any plan is not the one.
Yeah. Sorry, but this is Jimmy in direct response. He quote tweets him. Like a bitch. Sorry, but Cenk Uygur is misleading his audience again. If Pelosi doesn't get enough votes, it doesn't get handed to the GOP. That's not how it works at all. He's gaslighting everyone now and running interference for the Democrat Party. Note that particular wording. Don't fall for it. Hashtag force the vote. So, do you want to explain to us what would happen in the event that she wasn't elected as Speaker? Who would become
Well,
Speaker?
I think they'd have... if it would depend on who was running, and I think right now she's running unopposed. I would need to check the things on that.
Democratic Party, but isn't Kevin McCarthy running?
Right, but I don't know. It would if she didn't get enough votes, but she got more votes than him. I'm not a House.
Okay, that's fine.
But, yeah, I mean, I think what we're talking about is at the most 4 or 5 people withholding their votes. And I guess the Republicans, if they are, there's too many unknowns. I don't actually know if they would end up with that or not. I think we could look that up, probably.
Okay.
House leadership
Election
or House Speaker votes.
House Speaker. Or House Speaker. No, that's UK. Okay, USA. Fuck's sake.
Mm-hmm.
Speaker of the United States.
I think there was a drop-down one about how it happens if you go back.
Selection. The House elects its Speaker at the beginning of each new Congress. Traditionally, each party's caucus or conference selects a candidate for the speakership from among its senior prior to the roll call. Representatives are not restricted to voting for the candidate nominated by the party, but generally do, as the outcome of the election effectively determines which party has the majority and consequently organise the House. The Constitution does not explicitly state that the Speaker must be an incumbent member of the House. Really? Okay.
No, you can nominate Beyonce to be Speaker of the House and vote.
Oh, they should do that. That would be amazing. It is permissible. Does it have to be human?
I don't know that the Constitution says. I don't know. We'd have to look at the language. And probably any person.
It's the only fucking answer. Look, lesbian kangaroos might not be the hero America wanted, but they're the heroes America needs. Okay?
There you go.
It is permissible for representatives to vote for someone who is not a member of the House at the time, and non-members have received a few votes in various speed. Representatives who choose to vote. Come on, give me the fucking numbers.
Yep, actually, read that paragraph because it is important. Representatives who choose to vote for someone other than their party's nominated candidate usually vote for someone else in their party or vote present. Anyone who votes for the party's candidates would face serious consequences in the case when Democrat Jim Traficant voted for Republican Bennett Hassert. In response, Democrats stripped him of seniority and he lost all his committee posts. So to be elected, a candidate must receive an absolute majority of the votes cast as opposed to an absolute majority of the full membership. There have been only a few instances during the past century where their person received a majority of the votes cast, thus won the election while failing to obtain a majority of the first. So, I mean, if all the Republicans were to rally around Kevin McCarthy and there were no one who did any protest votes, and I don't know, what's the House majority right now? Going into the next
coming
Congress?
into the 117th.
Is it 7 or 5?
5 was the number.
5.
But it depends exactly when, because there are. Biden's chosen 4 so far House members for positions in his cabinet, so they'll have to resign from their posts as representatives and have a runoff in for their seats. But I presume that would happen. By the governors.
They would maybe be, their seats might be temporarily filled by appointment depending on the state law. Okay. Therefore, the seats would be filled until there's an election so that the state doesn't go without, or that Congress district doesn't go without representation.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Okay, but there will at some point in the near future be one. But either way, it depends exactly when that happens, I suppose. I presume Biden would be okay with them staying as representatives just to get Pelosi the House speakership.
Well, they'd have to be sworn in. Yeah, I mean, if they were sworn in until they took up their seats, but I'm not quite. But it is the case that, like, if
because that happens on the 3rd of January, and then the inauguration doesn't happen until the 20th. So presumably they could do that.
Yeah, there might be a little bit of a overlap there.
Yeah.
But let's say all 5 members of the squad and one other progressive decided to vote present. Then it sounds like by reading of that, McCarthy would become. Even though the Democrats held the majority, they would be giving the speakership to McCarthy. In that scenario, based on what we read.
Basically wrong.
Wrong. Yes.
Yeah.
We've checked him in real time.
Yeah. And that's the thing.
And we learned something.
My whole point isn't that this couldn't be done. Like that you couldn't put leverage by threatening your vote. My point is, so I'm not suggesting, as Jimmy Dore will strawman on occasion, that the people are saying it couldn't work, as in it couldn't get, you couldn't leverage your votes if you had enough of them to force Nancy Pelosi to do something silly. That could happen, but the point being is that why would you bother? That seems like a really silly waste of political capital.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, I don't even know what bill they want to be put before the House floor. And honestly, if you're going to put a bill before the floor without it going through the proper committee process, people could vote against it and just say, I thought it should actually have hearing and a chance for amendment, not just an up or down floor vote.
Well, yeah, exactly. Because
that's not an unreasonable position.
Yeah, the whole point of having those committees is that you knock out the kinks in the legislation. Because the worst thing you can do is rush through a piece of legislation that ends up having undesired effects. The whole point is you're supposed to be crafted properly because it's a fucking law. It will be tested in court by highly paid lawyers. You need to make sure all your loopholes are closed, all of your T's are crossed and I's dotted and all of that.
Now, I want to say that there might be, if you want to play devil's advocate and give Jimmy Dore like a very charitable interpretation here. He might know all these things and not care. His entire point might just be to pressure OAC and progressives in Congress to continually press forward on this issue. So by calling them out on this, it's basically, hey, even when it's impossible, I'm going to call you out. So I'm coming for you and my friends, my supporters. We are not going to let up the pressure ever, ever, ever. That could also be, he's flexing is what I'm saying. He's made this an issue. People are talking about it, and it's probably gotten more attention, even if it's ridiculous, than if he hadn't brought this up and made this demand. So in this way, he's doing activism.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with doing activism, but activism with no sensible chance of victory is pointless. You're hitting your head against the wall.
But the point isn't. The point here is to put pressure on the most progressive members of Congress. Because I think that's the point. It's not about getting the thing. It's about showing their flex.
Yeah.
I can make your life miserable.
Yeah. Can I just answer the person in the chat who says, telling people that they are quote unquote irrational for supporting M4A is gaslighting? No. No one is saying supporting M4A is irrational. I've said before, I support M4A. I support a universal healthcare system in America. It's an abomination you don't fucking have one. Okay? That's not the point. We're saying it's irrational to go about it this way because it cannot work this way.
And can I also bounce off that to make a larger point that I brought up a week ago and I've been thinking about a lot, and that is that the left does not have a long-term agenda for getting things done. Now, when I say people are like, no, we've got an agenda and we've got let me give you a comparison. The Republicans have been working on the same political agenda with a clear goal for 4 or 5 decades now. Since the civil rights movement, their agenda has been to establish a one-party white supremacist state under a guise of democracy because people are able to vote in elections, but the outcomes are always predetermined. Why? Because they have been steadily working at cookie-cutter legislation to do vote suppression, increase ID laws in ways that benefit their white constituencies, to do gerrymandering, and to now even move to making people not believe in democracy and just go behind a strong man. They have been focused on getting the courts, getting people into the federal court system, into stacking the Supreme Court. And all of that is based on, this is generations of legislators.
Yeah.
People in the 60s and 70s passed this agenda on to people in the 70s and 80s who passed it on to governors and state legislators in the 90s and all the way up to today. We don't have an agenda like that. Yeah. And what we end up doing is flitting from, issue to issue, session to session. And that is why we end up losing, is because we don't have that kind of long-term focused goal that we're constantly chipping away at.
Exactly, yeah. Actually, I think that's a very good point. And hidden within it is even more crux of the point there, that too much on the left is focused on things that are on the national level. Whereas in America, so much of it is federal, right? So much of it is down at the state level. And Democrats have not been able to successfully get hold of state houses for a long time now. The majority
we started off at a disadvantage, but...
Well, no, absolutely. I'm not suggesting it isn't, but I mean... things like even something as simple as forcing votes on, down ballot ticket votes on statewide canvassing boards for redistricting based on non-political districts, right? So you don't get the gerrymandered bullshit which ensures Republican majorities across these states. And I think most people who are sensible, if you actually go and do the work on the ground, will support something like that. And that can be the first step to actually getting a democratic system in America that will actually help in truly getting representation on that local level, which will eventually feed through to the federal level, of the problem you mentioned earlier, that people support policies that have absolutely no chance of passing at the federal level. Which is ridiculous. That's not representative government, then, is it? It's that's what you need to focus on, is on a more local level, rather than going, okay, we got a president elected or something, and then assuming that's going to mean anything.
Yeah, Sketchy Got Hands in the chat makes an excellent point. Progressives need to talk to Latasha Brown and Stacey Abrams, and that is it. At this point, it's going to take grassroots activism to get to the state level, where you can start winning those state races and working against the gerrymandering. You're not going to do it by passing laws at the federal level, because the states are just going to sue, and now the courts are stacked against more progressive interpretations. They're not just like constitutionalists, they're hostile to the expansion of rights and the expansion of access to things like healthcare. So we need a longer term, we need a multi-generational focus. Yeah. And then stick to it.
Well, rather than getting caught up in shit like an individual bill or an individual issue.
Yes.
Look, let's say this happens. Let's say Jimmy Dore gets his way. What's his plan after that? Because it'll get voted down. There's no fucking way he can win.
Well,
What's his plan then after that?
His plan is to primary all the Democrats who voted no. Because
Okay,
going after the Democrats is how you achieve Republican long-term aims.
well, that's the point. Is he's not really interested
Yeah.
in progressive change. He's interested in fluffing his own penis at this point. That's all.
Yeah.
It's not. This is not about genuine activism. And again, I'm not having a go at anyone who wants to support M4A. I think that would be a glorious
These
thing.
are yeah. There's a difference between having a policy power and political theater.
Yeah.
All right. And this is political theater. And sometimes you do political theater in order to try to access or leverage political power or policy outcomes. But these are completely different things. And they each have their role. I mean, I think that there are politicians who constantly do, symbolic issue things of political theater to make a point. That's a way of communicating. But political theater and marching doesn't get you bills passed. It's meeting with members of Congress. It's doing the work at the grassroots level to counter the hateful narrative that the GOP, again, if you go, I was watching a summary of The Art of War and comparing it to GOP tactics. One of the things that Sun Tzu talks about is making sure that your troops hate the enemy, because then they'll fight with much more sort of, vigor and commitment. And the right has always dehumanized us on the left. And we don't really, I feel like that's one of the things that we don't hate them back the same way they dehumanize us. And so how do we then make that work for our advantage?
We really ought to, not because inherently someone else is bad, but based on their actions. They're a fucking death cult. They're going around.
Yes,
did you see the fucking GOP party in upstate New York that had a thing at the weekend? And they were doing conga line dances, not wearing any masks, in an indoor environment. You just think, I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah.
It would be bad enough. Look, if someone wants to drink themselves to death, I would advise against it, and I would help them if they sought help. But that's on them. That's their own decision. These motherfuckers are going to go into a shop and buy a newspaper or something, and infect some poor motherfucker as well. How many people are going to die because of that one individual aspect? Let alone the fact that Trump's doing fucking rallies and parties and all kinds of shit. It's fucking madness. These people are sick. They genuinely are. There's something desperately wrong with a group of people that think Fox News is too fair and balanced. I need to go to OAN.
Yeah. And the way to do that is you actually need to get people on side. So Republicans against Trump, the Lincoln Project. You can't rely on progressives, because progressives tend to live in urban areas. And the American political system is a game of football. It is a game of territory and land. It's not necessarily a game of votes, right? We know that. So why do we keep pretending like if we're just morally right on things, the policies we want should happen? People won't do even what's in their best interest. Look at the fucking pandemic. Masks are cheap and they don't hurt, and they are barely an inconvenience. And yet millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of Americans won't do that. So if they won't wear a mask, think about how much harder it is to convince them that spending money to help someone else be healthy with M4A is a good idea. I mean, I think we need some pragmatism and not just anger and saying, I'm right, I'm moral because I want the best outcome for people, therefore. That's not how politics works.
Exactly, yeah.
Politics is about power.
Republicans in fucking Mississippi don't even want to pay money or accept federal money to help educate their own children.
Yeah.
Like this, trying to use an oft overused American political phrase, to appeal to their better natures, isn't necessarily going to work in that respect. You need to put in much more groundwork and be much smarter about it. This is the problem, right? You need to be smart, people. Work smart and hard is how you achieve things. No doubt he's working hard. He's putting a lot of shit. He's putting his neck on the line to a degree, Jimmy Dore, but he's not working smart. This is fucking ridiculous.
This is theater. This is entirely political theater.
It's performative nonsense, anyway.
And can I also just say too, when people on the left put an entire focus on M4A, that's really focused at a specific demographic, because people who are seniors already have Medicare.
Yeah.
So when you say, what am I going to do for seniors? And your answer is M4A, you're basically saying nothing. Yeah. So what is your answer to people who already have Medicare? What are your policies that are going to win them over?
Cuff them in the face.
You can't just say it.
Just cuff them in the face.
Yeah. So
I'm
just
give
saying,
it a couple of weeks, it'll be fine. No, I'm joking.
Yeah. Like, you have to think about how your message rings with other people.
Yeah.
And honestly, this is gonna be depressing for some people, but I think that more often than not, and we can look at it, for instance, like the number of Hispanic people who voted for Trump because the stock market was going up and their retirement fund was expanding. If your argument is we need M4A because people are poor and suffering, a lot of people won't give a fuck.
Yeah.
You have to talk to them about their pocketbooks and what they care about and the money that they can save and the services that they can give. And you need to do that at every demographic and not just hate people because they're business owners or hate people because they make $600,000 a year. Because if you're hating them, you're not going to get their votes.
But it goes.
So I just feel like there's a lot more strategy needed.
But it goes even beyond that, because even the poor and suffering in America, many of them don't want to vote for things that would alleviate that suffering. Like I say, I mean, I don't want to pick on just Mississippi, but I'll go around the country. I was attacking Montana before, so it's not geographic.
That's true.
It's political. Dickheads in Mississippi who live in shacks with nothing to their name will still say, I'll vote Donald Trump because he gave tax cuts to billionaires. What the fuck is wrong with you? Are you insane? What? So, again, just being morally right on something doesn't necessarily achieve a damn thing, and I'm sick of being morally right and losing. It's so painful and shit. Now, I'm not suggesting we give up on our principles. I'm not suggesting that in the slightest. I'm suggesting just doing weird purity shit where you go, oh fuck AOC, whilst again giving a cheeky reach around to fucking Tucker Carlson. It's not exactly the kind of purity I'm after, Jim.
Oh God, no. But you could lay the groundwork with Obamacare. You then lay more groundwork by redressing the problems with co-ops that Republicans basically made it impossible for co-ops to be successful under Obamacare. And you get the House and Senate back and you redress that so people can start forming health insurance co-ops, which is another alternative to private insurance. You allow competition across state lines so those co-ops can connect and build and move into other states and operate. And you add a public option. And you get, like someone said, some people on Medicare can't get all their services. Yeah, have that conversation. Like how much better, the deductible issue will go away, or this will go away. And also, I think it's important to talk about numbers. I think that we should talk about a Robin Hood tax, especially with the stock market. People are like, fuck the stock market. Even people who have money in the stock market wouldn't be affected by the Robin Hood tax because they're not day traders. Yeah. They're not doing currency exchanges. So it's not going to be in their pocketbooks that get hit. And if you can say, look, we can raise all this money just by doing a fraction of a penny on all of these stock market things that you don't even touch your life, and you can save you $1,500 a year or $8,000 a year, then people are going to perk up and listen. But you can't just talk about spending without linking it to some kind of reasonable funding plan, because the one thing that people our default against is government spending. Like they are been trained like Pavlovian dogs to react against, more debt and deficits. And just saying, well, the military spends a lot of money isn't an answer to that problem, but creating a reasonable tax source for it that doesn't touch their pockets would.
Yes. But anyway, back to the drama. Actually, no, I had a thing, didn't I? Sorry. John Doe says, gave $25, which is very generous, thank you. Was going to troll the shit out of you by donating 25 separate $1 donations, but fuck it, I'm lazy. Merry Christmas, dude. And Merry Christmas to you, John. And Happy Christmas, Hanukkah, Festivus for the rest of us, Kwanzaa. Is there anything else? I saw... Okay, right. This is what people were calling it on Black Twitter, okay? So don't have a go. I saw it got trending, #Negro Solstice.
Okay, all right. And what was that conversation?
I don't really know, but apparently black people are getting superpowers or some shit.
Oh, that sounds cool.
Yeah, it sounds awesome. I don't know what the fuck they were talking about, but it got trending, and I was like, do I want to look at this? This could be some Nazi shit. I don't know. Like this could be. I don't know what's going on here. But anyway, so it's the shortest
get to a clip?
day of the year.
Yes.
Well, we will get to a clip in a second.
Okay.
But we got drama. This is again this conspiratorial bullshit, right? Again, we just fact checked Jimmy, so we know he's full of shit here. It says, and you're lying about the GOP taking over the speakership. That's not how it works. How much dollar are you being paid to try and stop this?
How does he think it works? He said this twice now.
Yeah.
How does he think it works then?
But it couldn't just be.
We
That,
looked at it.
it couldn't just be that Cheng has a different take on this. It's that he's being paid because he's a desperate shill. Like, shut the fuck up, man. God damn it.
Virtue signaling.
Yeah, it's nonsense, isn't it? There we go. We're watching. That's the thumbnail I put up. Which, for some reason, when I tweeted this out, the thumbnail didn't come up, even though I spent a whole 4 minutes putting that together. How dare you? Jimmy Dore.
Okay.
Jimmy did
I sent you a clip in our. Oh yeah.
It's on. Yeah, it's like the
Yeah,
second,
it's right there.
the not penultimate, the second most recent one. That one.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also this weird bit of. This is supposed to be comedy, I think.
Okay,
Involving
let's
a
check that out.
Bernie.
You and me,
Oh,
we're the same. We're creators, originals,
Thank you, TikTok.
inventors.
yeah.
We take the game.
Is this? Honestly, I deleted that shit because I'm worried about spyware on it. I don't know if it's true or not, but I was like, it seems dodgy as fuck to me. So, not on.
So
TikTok.
Kristi being xenophobic. Good.
So much. It's more about the spyware going to
So
companies.
yeah, the Chinese are trying to take over your phone. Yeah, okay. That's fine. Oh, actually, on that point, sorry, I know we should. Oh God, but this was too funny. Did you know that China has invaded the USA?
Oh wait, yeah. Go ahead and show. I think you showed me this when you were scrolling down because it's ridiculous.
No, did I? No, I know I showed you the. Anyways, this right. So some people in the fake news media will have you think that there was a small earthquake on the Maine Canada border, right?
Yeah.
Absolute nonsense. As this random twat on Facebook, who is a great source, always go to a random twat on Facebook. Multiple reports of 50,000 Chinese troops trying to attack Maine have been bombed in a bunker in Robinson, Maine, in Washington County after they invaded from Canada and killed 2 people in Maine.
What?
The bombing was concealed as an earthquake by the news media.
Yeah, sure it was.
All I'll
Yeah,
say
sure it
is, Trudeau, what are you doing, man? Why are you letting China launch attacks from Canadian soil? It's outrageous. The Chinese invasion.
I think data. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
The Chinese invasion troops in Maine killing gun owners. Nice. Has not been dealt with or taken seriously. It's known.
Facebook really needs better moderation.
Yeah. It's been known for sure, established beyond doubt, that Chinese troops are in Maine. It's certain that Chinese troops are killing more Americans is in the coding for all of those who voted against the Chinese regime.
What? Oh god, such bullshit.
Hard to believe most wrongdoers don't believe that a Chinese troop doing an invasion of Maine is not not bad or wrong. No, I would say China invading American soil would be a bad thing. Yes.
Yes, that's
This
why
is
they
not
didn't do
happening, you lunatic. What the fuck? Congress and China is murdering those openly resist or disobey Chinese soldiers. It's almost like this person is an illiterate idiot. Good.
it. The last one is the best.
Most of those commenting are cruel, obnoxious, and heartless. Because, as you can see, people are laughing at me.
Yes.
So anyway, R.I.P. America. I, for one, welcome our new Chinese overlords.
I think what it was is Data Port Dull tagged us both into that. That's how I'd read it earlier. You go back
okay,
one.
There we go, yeah.
Yeah. Thanks to Data Port Dull for the tag.
Well, for being awesome in general.
Yeah.
It's good. Anyway, so on that note, how did I get into that? I don't even
This
know.
comedy?
Yeah, comedy bit, yeah.
Bernie Sanders is on the line. I hope he has some news on that new stimulus bill. Hello?
Hello, you pain in the ass. How may I help you? Better yet, what's the best way to get you to shut the fuck up and leave me the hell alone?
We just want to know what you're doing to help us, Bernie. Things are bad for everybody.
You're telling me. Joe Biden just picked George Bush to paint his presidential portrait. Get ready for a lot of mottled light accretions, muddled colors, and creepy Freudian symbolism. Unacceptable. I will never have my official portrait done. My arms flap around too much, to make it feasible.
Is there going to be any stimulus bill before the holidays?
This is comedy.
I guess
now.
to some people.
Let me be the one to say, let it be said now. Congress can't go home for the Christmas holidays until we pass legislation which provides a $1,200 direct payment to working class adults.
Okay, but what do you mean by working class adults?
What the hell do you mean by asking what do I mean by working class adults?
Does it include the long-term unemployed, adults on Social Security or disability?
It means what it means, and Congress can't go home until they pass it.
And how are you going to keep them from going home?
I'll tell you how, you peckerwood sock puppet. I'm going to keep telling them that they can't go home until they do it. That's how.
What's their motivation to do it?
This is comedy.
I am.
This is voters that we are fighting for them. That's what. And what?
I'm not really laughing, am I?
I've had hemorrhoids that were funnier than this.
Like, I feel like I'm at an open mic night, and a guy has a puppet.
Yeah,
And
but Jimmy Dore's a professional comedian.
I hope he didn't write this. It did say written by,
Yeah.
but there was someone else's name on there too, right?
Yeah.
Oh God.
And he's doing it. It's on his show. I don't care who wrote it. He okayed this shit. This is still on his fucking channel. This is on him.
So all right, go ahead.
He is fighting for them. They come out and vote.
If that's the case, why can't you and the squad use your power to force a vote on Medicare for all?
Don't be a fuckhead. Because you can't use your power for Medicare for all. Because if you use your power, you lose your power.
Why?
Because everybody would lose their committee assignments and then they'd have no power.
But when you don't use your power, voters stay home and you lose elections. Then you have no power.
No. You don't understand. The whole point of having power is to never use it. Using power makes you powerless. Real power is when you never use your power. Power is useless without powerlessness.
Okay, so if real power is powerlessness, why aren't...
Yeah.
This is like... Imagine if Cancer tried to do stand-up comedy.
So, yeah, I mean, I guess what this gives an insight to is to their critique of what happens when you elect politicians who then don't actually go and do the things that they promised, which no politician ever does what they promise because it's not a dictatorship. So, yeah, if that's comedy, that was, I mean, it's no Freddie Got Fingered in terms of cringe. But
Kristi, I was with you up until you said cringe. It's no good. Freddie Got Fingered, by comparison, was a comedic masterpiece.
No.
It had elephant and horse penises.
Well, that's your metric, Kevin. So since
exactly,
art is a subjective,
Yeah, you do the Logan coefficient. It's number of minutes in a movie by penis number squared. That's the Logan coefficient.
The number of penises by the number of minutes the penises are on screen squared?
No, total movie runtime, number of penises divide. And that's the Logan scale. You want to get that number as small as possible because you want more penis
and
per
the
minute.
newest film theory, the newest critical theory in film, breaking out tonight on the show. You heard it here first.
Fuck your Bechdel test. It's the cock test. Anyway, clip that. Send that to some feminists.
Yeah, you doing llama noises and then having a discussion about your cock test.
High class material.
Always.
And if you want to keep funding this incredible material, you can do so below by the link. Anyway, so do you want to read out Cenk again?
All right. Cenk says, I give a lot of shit. I give a lot of shit? Oh, all right, sorry. I hadn't read this beforehand, so I'm doing it a live read. I give a lot of shit and I take a lot of shit. I fought 1,000 battles against every wing of the party, but I don't get sensitive about it. Dun-dun. Jimmy Dore has had his feelings hurt so much he lashes out wildly against all other progressives. His angle is to be the most pure.
Well, come on. Round of applause, people. Round of applause. That was beautiful.
It's Jimmy Dore the musical.
Oh, for a second there I thought Freddie Mercury had come back from the dead. It was glorious. Anyway. So Cenk basically saying Jimmy's being a petulant little bitch. Fair. And his response isn't necessarily incorrect, but I want you to know, Jimmy Dore was happy to take a wage from this man that he's describing in this. Because again, I'm no fan of Cenk Uygur, don't get me twisted on that.
Oh, he's dragging the shit out of Cenk. I didn't even look up to what he
Oh,
said,
yeah,
but
yeah.
holy shit.
Oh, you know, this gets
Yeah.
this gets spicy drama nonsense. Yeah, quote. I'm a union
Yeah.
buster, former pro-war Republican, took $20 million from the Clintons donors,
Yeah.
and still pretend I'm independent so I can beg for poor people for money 3 times a week from my, quote, cell phone in direct marketing campaigns while I smear true indie media because they advocate for hashtag force the vote. And then doesn't end the quotation marks. So, I mean, again, that quote just goes on forever. That never stops.
I just, honestly, this is starting to come across as a WWE match.
It's silliness. It's so petty. And again, I'm not saying he's wrong about any of the things he's mentioning here, although
They're just irrelevant.
Clinton donors, like, shut the fuck up. Like, you earn
he
money
did
on
try to bust a
YouTube,
union,
man.
though.
Like, just don't be so... Yeah, no, he did.
He did try to fucking bust a union.
And he's done fucking
Yeah.
genocide in Ireland and all sorts of fucked up shit. But
It's
you
irrelevant.
took a wage from him. You took a paycheck
Yeah.
from that man. So don't turn around and now be trying to take the high ground on him. You took you took that blood money, motherfucker. You took Clinton donor money or whatever. Shut the fuck up. Anyway.
Yeah.
Secular talk is annoying.
So sorry, someone in the chat says this is why you should never trust a politician. I would disagree. I would say that you need to vote with the understanding that your politician is kind of like a cog in the wheel. So yeah, if you believe everything a politician is going to say to you, you will be let down. But that doesn't mean you can't push them to vote on things and you can't get part of what you want now. So yeah, but I mean, politicians always overpromise and underdeliver because nobody wants to be sold a compromise.
Yeah.
It's partly our fault. You know, we want what we want without any sort of like having to deal with the opposition. And that's what a lot of partisan talk is. It's your ideal world if you could just do everything you wanted and wave a magic wand and everyone would vote for it. So.
Yeah, indeed. He's trying to dunk on Ocasio-Cortez. And it's this weird LARPy shit. No healthcare, no UBI, $600 for you, and then that's supposed to be, I think, $5 trillion for the donors. Now that may be true, mate. I don't know about the numbers, but it's certainly fucked up that it's $600 is nothing.
Right, but that's on top of what the states, you know that's on top of what the states do. So people get 2 checks. They get a federal check and they also get their state unemployment benefit. So it's not, a lot of people are saying, oh my gosh, it's only 600. Like, no, that's topping up what the states are doing. And yeah, does it suck? Yeah, you know, the answer to that is get the Georgia Democrats elected so that we can have another bill as soon as January and get more money by the end of January, part of February. That's the solution. It's not to say $600. You should have said no. Like at some point you have to compromise. This is the problem when you have Mitch McConnell over in the Senate, and we need to get that sorted first.
But the oligarchy is begging for revolution. Let's give it to them. Motherfucker, you're a fucking stoner comedian sat in California. Like, you're not Lenin manning the barricades, fucking getting the train workers on site. No, you're a fucking internet LARPy douche. You're a YouTube dickhead. You're a more successful YouTube dickhead than me or Kristi, but you're a YouTube dickhead nonetheless.
Yeah, this is why I also
fuck down a bit.
I just gotta like sort of cringe a little bit when I see people calling for a general strike, because unless your general strike is focused, it's just people not getting paid for a day, and that doesn't help them. And other people get pissed off who didn't participate in the strike. Like if you are Amazon workers and you are striking right now during the COVID pandemic for more safety conditions and a higher wage, yeah, you know why that's the right time to strike? Because you have leverage. But the only time national strikes have worked have been like in times of crisis. Like what was that, like Poland? We saw women coming out when they were basically making abortion entirely illegal and doing a strike. But most people aren't that, again, just because you don't have money, that doesn't mean you're gonna have solidarity. People in the middle and upper classes aren't gonna have solidarity. And without everybody participating, it's not gonna have the effect. So you have to know your target, and you have to know what your target's weak spots are. And weak spots, I mean pressure points. How can you pressure them to do what you want? Because there are a lot of pressures on members of Congress, and just saying it's gonna save people's lives, it's not gonna do it, because they're constantly dealing with issues that affect people's lives. They're not always able to do everything they want, and they've got a lot of opposition to what they want to do. Anyway, I'm talking a lot.
Yeah. Anyway, so you wanted to watch this one?
Women know too
Oh,
much.
yeah.
I'm all for girls who don't know too much.
What the
Different
fuck?
class.
We didn't need Jimmy Savile. on the
Jesus
screen.
Christ.
Yeah.
Great.
Anyway.
So this is kind of Jimmy's take. I just kind of thought,
Arguably a worse Jimmy, I think we can say. You know?
yeah. And also, he is totally clout chasing on AOC, can I say?
Oh, of course.
Just absolutely.
He is. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think also there's been times in the past that AOC has basically just been virtue signaling on hating on left-wing Dems, and I feel very much like it's aimed at people like me. So AOC, when she's talking to her own people about how great they are and how evil everybody else is, all that's doing is alienating people like me who could agree with her on a lot of things, except for like maybe 80%. But if you try to tell me what she will do, you all right? You've interrupted me. Like she's about to say in this clip that all Democrats are basically center-right people. Fuck you. Like, honestly, fuck you. You're going to, what, because I don't agree with you 100% on destroying capitalism now, I'm center-right? Because I believe in a gradual change from a capitalist system, I'm center-right? Fuck you and your gatekeeping. Just fuck you. And that's what my frustration with AOC is.
Okay.
Which we'll
So
see.
I just want to show the rhetoric when you're
Oh, for fuck's sake.
running for
What's wrong?
office. And
No,
today
no. For some reason, it decided to keep. Well, a clicking issue. Never mind.
AOC did an
Oh, okay.
interview.
All of Washington is not incentivized, on the whole, not incentivized to work in actually expediting guaranteed health care in the United States. Now, does that mean it's not going to happen? Absolutely not, because mass movement organizing can force it to happen. Force it to happen. Do not trust any political party to automatically work in your interest.
I call on everybody in independent media to join this mission.
Force it to happen.
Force the Congress to show which side are they really on. No vote for Nancy Pelosi unless Medicare for All is put on the House floor for a vote.
Start bringing the ruckus on the Democratic Party.
So again, look at all the names he's put on there, right? So all the the progressives are shit. But Tucker Carlson, please, can I fondle your balls some more with my face? Like it's an embarrassment, man. It's so transparent, you know.
So that was her, and here she is saying we need to get a vote on the floor.
You know, in what you said earlier, too, I wanted to go back to what you said about our left party. We don't have a left party in the United States. The Democratic Party is not a left party. The Democratic Party is a center or center conservative party. We do not advocate for, we can't even get a floor vote on Medicare for all. Not even a floor vote that gets voted down. We can't even get a vote on it. So this is not a left party. There are left members inside the Democratic Party that are working to try to make that shift happen.
Hang on. She didn't say they should have a floor vote that doesn't win. She was just saying they couldn't even get to that point.
Well, no, she actually did actually say that. She said they're not even letting us have a floor vote that wouldn't pass. She did say that.
Yeah, she's saying that you couldn't get to that point, but she's not saying that should happen, because if it's going to lose, if that makes sense. She wasn't advocating you just allow that to happen. You're saying that the party itself wasn't left-wing enough to even allow that to happen.
I guess that's not how I read it. I think what I heard her saying was they won't even put up a vote to let people have a chance to vote on it, even if it fails.
Yeah.
And that's what he's kind of asking her to do. I mean, again, playing devil's advocate here. He's kind of, what he's doing is he's pushing her from the left. He's just pushing her from the left, as I said. He's flexing. So.
Yeah, but like I say, considering his weird alliance with right-wing populists, I don't know that he is to the left of her in reality. Like,
no,
just
but he's pressuring her.
Yeah, yeah.
He can pressure her from the left.
Yeah.
You can pressure, anyone from any direction. And he's definitely getting a lot of clicks from this. and putting the kind of pressure on her. He's getting talked about.
Yeah, well, we're talking about him right now, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and here's a 30-second ad she ran.
What the Bronx and Queens needs is Medicare for all, tuition-free public college, a federal jobs guarantee, and criminal justice reform. We can do it now. It doesn't take 100 years to do this. It takes political courage.
And then she went on the Intercept podcast today, and I want to play this for her. I have my guest with us. She's written for The Guardian, The Intercept, Rolling Stone. She was National Press Secretary for the 2020 Bernie Sanders campaign, contributing editor at Current Affairs magazine, and the co-host of the Bad Faith podcast.
Why do you do this to me, Kristi?
Oh, hey, I hated Brianna Joy Gray. I'm not hated, but like I was suspicious of her and side-eyed her long before you guys had. So believe me, I feel your pain.
She's just insufferable. Again, burnouts, absolute burnouts. They can't just accept, like, Bernie lost, maybe we should move on from that. No, let's just tear it all down. It's just embarrassing, childish nonsense.
Yeah, I thought you'd enjoy this.
Oh, but Brianna Joy Gray, oh no, fuck Noam Chomsky. I know you've been working for decades, mate, but I'm a podcast host doing a thing with someone from the Chapo Trap House, so, you know, we know more than you. Shut the fuck up, old man.
It's Brianna Joy Gray. She's with us. Hi, Brianna.
Hi again, Jamie.
And so let me just play a little bit from her interview. So that's what got me excited about AOC. That's what got everybody else excited about AOC and the squad. Everybody, right?
What got you excited about Tucker Carlson?
Is what she's saying today.
Pause it. By the way, I'll just preview this.
Sort of discussion that.
Sorry.
Yeah.
He's going to let her play. He's going to play an unedited clip where she's going to kind of address this issue now. And your question was what? Why you got excited?
No, he said that's what made me get excited for AOC, and I asked him why he got excited. What made him excited for Tucker Carlson?
Oh, okay, got it.
That is a fair question.
So, yeah, and so as you can see, I mean, what he's doing here is quite political. He's basically saying, I'm only asking her to do what she said she was going to do. She's the one who's saying we need to fight. She's the one who we need a floor vote. She's the one who's saying, you know, we can't wait 100 years for this, so we have to use every opportunity now. So use your power now because there are fewer of you and you can actually leverage this into a floor vote. Now, again, we can talk about the efficacy of the floor vote, but in terms of activism, he's doing the kind of thing that AOC was doing before she got into Congress.
True, but that's the point. Before you get into Congress, she's probably learned some stuff over 2 years.
I would hope so.
Yeah. That maybe Jimmy Dore doesn't, because Jimmy Dore, there are no repercussions for talking shit on YouTube.
Yeah, recently she gave an interview saying, again, this is the whole, goes back to my issue, no strategy. No, just flitting from blah, 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 blah. She said, yeah, we need to have different leadership. We need to get rid of Nancy Pelosi. Like, well, who would it be? Oh, well, not me. Well, but then fucking who? Like, why would you go at the Queen if you don't know any, if you're going to, why would you do that right before committee assignments? And not even have a strategy like, okay, yeah, we have this alternative and we've got this many votes. So in terms of is she getting better? I guess. I mean, I guess I don't know enough to say, but I see her making a lot of missteps for a very early member of Congress that other members of the squad don't make. So.
Well, possibly, but I mean, I think the scrutiny is more intense on her than anyone else. But what I will say is, I think Nancy Pelosi probably should step aside. To be honest, it's not going to happen now. She's going to get re-elected, but I think there's time for some fresh blood. We're going to have ancient as fuck Pelosi, ancient as fuck McConnell, ancient as fuck Biden. No wonder America's fucking dying.
That's how the seniority system is set up to behave. You know, maybe she could retire in terms of taking her, but then who's it going to be? There's going to be a bunch of people.
I don't know. I'm not. Yeah.
But within the seniority, there are people who have been there for a long time. Those are the people who get to run. Because it is based on seniority. You go in and then you get on a committee and then you get promoted up to a bigger committee and you learn, you make relationships. You have to, if you want to be the speaker, you need to know how to count votes. And you need to know how to make sure you've got enough votes to pass a bill before you ever put it up on the floor, which Paul Ryan failed to do several times. And you have to balance not only your agenda and your constituents' agenda, but you have to figure out a message that's going to appeal to people that your progressive base doesn't even want to talk to. But if you want power, then you have to make those compromises. people who are 4 into their second term of Congress, it would just be a disaster because they wouldn't know enough about the system. So seniority, there's a lot of problems with it, but it's also a proving ground, and it lets people get experience and experience things outside of their district as well as they move through leadership. So.
Well, all I'll say is we sorted this earlier. Speaker should be a lesbian kangaroo. It's the only answer.
Yeah. So we should maybe go back a couple of seconds so we don't cut off the full context.
Oh, no, heaven forbid we miss one of these two dickheads talking. Absolutely.
Here is what she's saying today.
Yeah, you know, I've followed this sort of discussion that's been playing out on social media over the weekend, you know, where you have Jimmy Dore and other personalities online who have really sort of zeroed in on you, and they're hammering you and saying the only principal position here is for you and other members of the squad to tell Pelosi that you will refuse to support her speakership. And right now, Pelosi is running unopposed.
Can I just say, there probably is a lesbian in Minnesota. I was specifically talking about lesbian kangaroos. I wasn't being serious. I've no problem with
you had to be here for the beginning of the show.
With a lesbian human being speaker. That's fine. But, you know, whatevs. Actually, it would be funny because the right wing would freak out about the death of masculinity, which would be funny.
And, you know, Kevin McCarthy is running for the Republicans. And I give you credit for, you know, getting into the weeds online. Not many Congress people do get into the weeds with people and respond to. Also, you respond to a lot of ordinary folks. So I give you tremendous credit. But I want to give you a chance here to respond to that line of criticism. You know, I personally think Pelosi has to go. That seems to be what you're indicating. You weren't necessarily disagreeing with people as I read it. It sounded to me like you had a very serious strategic disagreement with the premise of the debate. So respond to that. The issue was you won't support her unless she puts a vote for Medicare for all on the floor, and you have criticized that line from a strategic perspective. So give us your full-throated response to that.
And the only person who asks a longer question than that is me. Okay.
Actually, that's not true. There's a great clip, just in case, completely as an aside, the greatest clip for a speaker speaking over their guest thing I've ever seen was Philip Madeley, who's a TV presenter guy who used to do daytime TV, and he got to interview Bill Clinton, and this was just after he'd left office and stuff. It was the early 2000s, and he spoke. He asked a question about like the Lewinsky thing or something, and he'd had like a sexual misconduct thing himself, and so he rambled on for about 8 minutes. Whilst he had Bill Clinton, the only freshly like left office big fucking star
president.
Yeah. And this motherfucker who's like just a British TV dude, right? Famous in Britain, I suppose, but even so. And he just spoke for minutes and minutes. And Bill Clinton, fair play, and just sat there, was thinking, what the fuck is this prick doing? What?
Yeah.
Am I going to get to speak at all? Do you want me to speak? Do I need to be here? Anyway, it was very funny.
No, I think it's important that we're very clear here. The resistance that I have to that is not resistance to us having a floor vote on Medicare for all. But how I do feel is that when we talk about getting a floor vote on Medicare for all, the obstacles to doing that are not just about personalities, right? This isn't just about Nancy Pelosi having opposition to a floor vote on Medicare for all, though that very well may be the case. But there are also structural obstacles that prevent legislation, transformative legislation, not just Medicare for all, but many others, from actually passing. So first and foremost, we don't currently have the votes to pass Medicare for all. Now, the argument is if you put it on the floor, it'll create a bunch of pressure. And even if it fails, we should get these people on the record. Two issues with that. One is that to a certain degree, we have people on the record. We have a co-sponsor list. And
so let me stop it there. Go ahead, Brianna. You want to jump in?
Yeah, I mean, and I made this point in the article. There are people who performatively vote for bills like this without any intention when they know that they won't pass, right? We saw on the Senate side, for instance, all of the Bernie Medicare for All bill co-sponsors dropped their commitment to the policy as soon as they started running for president. Cory Booker, Kamala Harris, Kirsten Gillibrand, I think, dropped out too.
Oh no, politicians playing politics. Well, I never.
Well, I mean, I don't quite understand why they think this helps their point at all.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I think it's just kind of a tangent that they're going off on. But yeah, I think, her point, I don't know if she does it in the later part of her thing, but I wish AOC would have actually tried to enumerate, I should say, the structural things that she referenced, because that's a pretty vague term. And without knowing more about what she's thinking about, that's really difficult to interpret. But this idea that, however, I'm going to have to call her out, just because you sign on to a bill, that doesn't show you how the bill would end up on the floor. I mean, yeah, there's an expectation that co-signers would vote for it, but not everybody signs every bill that they're going to vote for. Like, not everyone becomes a co-signer. I mean, I worked in a state senator's office, and we would constantly have opportunities to sign on to bills. And sometimes, my boss didn't want to sign on to it because he wanted to amend it on the floor and have a discussion. So, there's, again, I have to kind of correct AOC. You can't equate people who sign on to a bill with support for something or opposition to it.
Well,
a vote is a vote. That's what you vote on. So.
Yeah, Richard from Richard and Judy. Yeah, Richard Madeley. To the person in the chat.
Oh God, it was Richard who babbled on for 7 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh God.
It was so funny.
When you said Richard, it's so funny. You said Richard Madeley, and I didn't get it. You said Richard and Judy. I knew exactly.
Richard and Judy. Yeah. What was I going to say? Yeah. There is a way, actually, though. I mean, and I don't know if she goes on to make the point because he's interrupted the AOC's response. But there is a way in which you can ask, because you could go through and create a list based on them being asked, because in their re-election campaigns, which have just happened, they'll have been asked that question. Now, it's not, even if they say yes, I would vote for it, that doesn't mean they necessarily would vote for it. But the point is, there are already people on the record having said they support or don't support a thing.
Right, but what do they mean by that thing? Again, if you're thinking it's a public option, you say yes, and then the other bill comes up, you're going to vote against it. You haven't actually voted against the M4A that you were willing to support.
But this is the obfuscation from Brianna Joy Gray and Jimmy Dore here, is that they may ask for that specificity when they're not providing it themselves, or people who support them might ask for that. And also the fact that even if you have people vote against the actual bill as it's proposed, that doesn't mean they oppose M4A, it just means they oppose that bill.
Correct.
There could be something in there. Undoubtedly, the Republicans will try and tack on all kinds of fucked up amendments, and they might get one or two on, which a lot of Democrats will step back and say, well, that's unsaleable in my district, I can't fucking vote for this. So, it's just a thing that happens, Anyway, but someone said, is Jimmy Dore a 9/11 truther? Is that true?
I don't know. I don't care about Jimmy Dore enough to know.
Well, I don't care about him that much either. I've not heard that before.
So.
Is that true? Hang on. Oh, God. God knows what's going to come up when I type this in. Jimmy Dore 9/11. Oh, God.
All right, someone brought it up. Now we have to fact check it live on air. That's fair.
Yeah, Jimmy Dore.
I'm going to just leave it.
And it has expressed... Oh, no. Oh, no, he isn't. Please say he's not.
I don't know what happened. Yeah, conspiracy theories. Oh, theories. Multiple theories.
Yeah, multiple.
He's got a whole section.
Discuss the conspiracy theories over the murder of Seth Rich.
God.
That's not surprising, because again, his whole thing is Democrat bad. And question statements by law enforcement and Rich's family. Dore cited a retracted Fox News story to substantiate blah blah blah. Dore has also expressed doubt in the official narrative of the 9/11 attacks, saying, I don't know what happened, I know what didn't happen. What didn't happen is what the government said happened. Oh no.
Great, because you can't trust the government except with your health care.
Yeah, that's from 2014. That's not a million years ago, man.
No.
Oh, the information was all that. Jimmy, what are you doing?
Be better.
Oh, that's embarrassing. You fucking dopey shitbag. The fuck are you doing? Prick. Sorry, go on. I mean...
Yeah, that's right. You can hit play.
That's
annoying.
Right. That's so annoying. Look, I don't mind having a political disagreement with someone, but you're scum if you believe stuff like that. Fuck you.
Oh, yeah.
Early,
the facts
before we
clear.
really understood what her Medicare for All plan was going to be. But none of them were committed to it. And having people have a vote a no vote on their record, it hits a little different, right? Because look at how.
Oh no, he mentioned Building 7. Oh, he's deep down the rabbit hole. Motherfucker.
This point in the article, look at how the both Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders' vote for the crime bill follows them. Now, I think they behaved very differently for different reasons back then, but at the end of the day, Bernie Sanders is going to have to go to his grave defending his vote for the '94 crime bill.
Yeah, and you worked for him.
She worked.
Yeah, you took a paycheck from someone who did that.
Mm-hmm.
So again,
yep.
the moral purity thing you guys are trying to enforce doesn't really work, does it? Because if Cheng Yuga is being paid by the Clinton donors, the echo quotations around that one, to say he believes or doesn't believe a thing or doesn't support something, then you taking a paycheck from '94 crime bill Bernie, and you taking fucking money from union busting pro-war Republican Clinton donor man, fucking whatever, fuck nice. It's embarrassing. Also, fuck you, Jimmy, you 9/11 scum. Fucking idiot.
Not gonna argue with that.
I can't get that out of my head now. I didn't know that about him. Ugh. Makes your skin crawl.
Yeah.
And it's bad for people, at least, I think probably most of his fans are lefties, right? There's a lot of right-wing nonsense he picks up from, like, his appearances on Fox and stuff, but look at that. That's a huge number of subscribers. That doesn't speak well to the left, man. Fuck.
Yeah, it's way more than lotus eaters or floater eaters.
Yeah. That's another 9/11 truther.
Yeah. I've got a Scargon clip bookmarked a little bit later on, so enjoy his
Believe
conspiracy
me, I worked
theory.
the campaign. I had to do the defending. It was annoying, right? So I think that it's, especially as public opinion continues to grow in support of Medicare for all, especially as the death count mounts. We have a vaccine, but we're going to be on shutdown, and people are going to continue to unfortunately expire for a long time. It's going to get ugly to have to be called out for voting no on universal health care in a moment like this.
I agree. Okay, so we disagree with her first assessment that people are already on the record. So, no, they're not.
There's a slightly annoying talking point a lot of Americans are bringing up about during a pandemic. Now, I get that that's supposed to heighten people's sense of wanting to provide healthcare for people, but this bill, if it ever did get going off the floor, which it won't, would take years to come into effect.
Yeah.
By which time the pandemic hopefully won't be an issue. Fucking hell. Or all America, because if it carries on the way it is, all Americans will be dead. Like, you have to have solved this by the time any such bill would come to pass. So, I'm not sure it's particularly relevant.
Well, I mean, I think that we don't know the long-term effects of COVID, and there might be people with lingering COVID symptoms in the near future, and the healthcare will become more relevant to those people. But again, to those people, not to the general population. And also, we have to look at the fact, would an M4A have changed anything under a Trump administration? I mean, if you look at the UK, it has the NHS. You guys have struggled with the pandemic because of who was in power. So M4A itself is going to be at the mercy of whatever political party is there to fund it or change the laws on it. And that's another thing, too, that I don't know. Okay, after M4A, then how do we keep it? I think that a lot of the conversations I hear about M4A is if it's an end in of itself, when actually you're just starting a longer process of having to fight over something else. And chances are, the Republicans are going to sue over it. And I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. I'm just saying that has to be part of the plan. Like, what is our plan for when they come for us in the Supreme Court? What happens when part of the bill is overturned, like the individual mandate in Obamacare? Like, how can we anticipate the kind of problems that we're going to have politically, not practically or administratively, but the fact that we are now putting a massive target on a bunch of people's backs, and that there will be times when the Republicans will get in and they will gut it. They will absolutely fucking gut it.
Oh yeah, trust me, as a person undergoing the incredibly heart-wrenching scene of seeing the Tories try and destroy the NHS, which they've consistently tried to do every time they've been in power since it was passed in the late 40s. It doesn't just go away. They don't just stop. They don't go, well, you've got universal healthcare, never mind, and move on. They will always try and destroy it.
Yeah. And I'm not saying we shouldn't do it because they're going to do that. I'm saying we need to make that part of our plan. We need to think about that as part of our strategy and buy-ins. And what states like Kentucky, and making arguments in Kentucky that people are better off with Democrats running these programs than Republicans.
Kentucky needs to be paved over.
Again, it is so frustrating that you have a country, because of the seniority system, and you've got people in Kentucky voting against their economic interests, which just shows you can't merely make economic interests. Those people are voting against their economic interests. The Chinese one state vote, like about 3 million people or whatever less, are denying people their COVID relief, denying any progression on a lot of legislation. Yeah. That's just a separate point.
Yeah.
But
well, the
Mitch McConnell.
The Chinese have already taken Maine. How about you offer them Kentucky and maybe call it quits?
I'd be up for those negotiations.
Although what I will say is there was Ron Johnson of the great state of Wisconsin who was holding up initially, so maybe offer them Wisconsin.
Fuck Ron Johnson. He's the worst thing to come out of Wisconsin since McCarthy. He's a fucking traitor. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, or the Packers, whatever.
Hey, Packers are awesome.
Saying that people are co-sponsors.
Yeah. I've got a cheese hat on. I've got a hat made of cheese. It's not cheese. It's styrofoam.
It's a
you loser.
Foam hat. It's not styrofoam. It's foam. It's squishy foam. There was a guy who was in a small engine plane and he lost control and he ended up crashing. And he had a cheese head under the seat, so he put it on his head as a helmet and it helped save his life. That's a true story. Yeah, you can look that up on the internet. Man saved by Cheesehead. You can look it up.
Wow.
I remember that story.
That's the true Lambo leap. Don't even fucking start.
Does not mean they're on the record. It's easy to be a co-sponsor. It's much harder to vote for something when it comes up for a vote. Okay, so that's incorrect. And by the way, I think she knows this. So this is the problem, right? So she's coming up with plausible deniability. She's trying to come up with excuses why not to do it. That's not the real reason. That's not the real reason, and I know that's not the real reason, and so that's what makes me suspicious, and so I know people are suspicious of me. I'm suspicious of politicians. Okay, so there's more to this. Let's listen.
If your member is co-sponsored on it, you have the grounds to pressure them to fulfill that vote. But we don't even have a majority of Democrats, or rather a majority of the House, co-sponsored on Medicare for All yet. But then the second thing, people may say, oh, well, that doesn't.
And again, that just goes 100% against what she ran on, which is we got to get a vote on the floor. It doesn't matter if even a down vote, she said. And now she's like, we don't have the vote, so we shouldn't do it. That's not what she said before, to get applause in front of a friendly audience.
Yeah, she's a politician, man. Look, I mean, I'm not saying that's great, but things change and you realise more about the world around you.
I think AOC in this moment could have been more tactical in that instead of saying sort of like, no, it would be, this is how we should do it. Instead of what Jimmy Dore is saying, this is my plan for getting a floor vote. That would have been a counter rather than a rejection. And they would be having a discussion about the merits of the strategy rather than whether or not there should be a floor vote.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, it's all sort of moot because we know it's not going to happen.
Well, even if it does happen in the House, it's not going to go anywhere in the Senate unless we win those 2 seats.
Yeah. But that's the thing. My whole argument against Jimmy Dore is why try something you know can't win? Why not try something that could? At the very least, just by having a chance of succeeding, it's a better plan.
I think that's a question of when you want to employ political theater.
Yeah.
So, if the aim here is to put a floor vote on in order to identify Dems to primary in 2022 and end up losing, they're already at risk for losing the House in the midterm because of historical patterns of how people vote against the party holding the House. But in which case, they're going to be blamed if the Democrats were to lose. So, it depends on what your end political goal is. If it's to get a bill passed out of the House that as many people signed on for, and maybe it's not perfect M4A, but it's a step in the right direction. You're able to get purple swing state Dems to sign on, something that Joe Manchin could vote for. Well, then you're going to get grief from the left because it's not enough, but you're going to get something. So you kind of have to pick, like, what is your end goal here? Is it just political theater? Or do you want a policy that will improve people's lives, or at least have the chance to improve people's lives because it has a chance to pass?
Yeah. And, I mean, there'll be a lot of LARPy nonsense about revolution, as fucking Jimmy Dore did himself. Now, if you believe that revolution is the only answer to this, don't pretend that you give two fucks about getting a vote on the floor of the House, then.
Well, yeah, because the House floor shouldn't matter at all to your revolution.
Yeah. No, that's fine. I think it's not going to happen anytime soon, but if you believe that's the only way of going with it, that's fine. That's a theory. But don't sign on to this like, oh, we need to force the vote, because that's what happens if another revolution takes place and they get rid of that vote.
And I think also I don't know if there's a different term for it, so I'm coming up with one, but I think what we have in the US is a sort of complacency capitalism, which is enough people get by and are able to get what they want, mostly, even if they're going into debt, they feel like they're having their head above water. And they feel invested in the system, whereas the people who are the most marginalized have the least power, and they have the most investment in changing the system. But it's about it's about expanding that base of who wants to revolt, and what are you revolting against, and what is your replacement. So just, I say like, oh, the revolution, like, well, yeah, again, that's sort of like social media virtue signaling. But if you actually want to make change, then you have to get down to brass tacks.
I am pretty revolting, though. That is true.
Okay.
And it's also not like, to my point, it's not the point of the plan. I mean, obviously it'd be lovely if it passed, but part of it is about exposing people for who they are. And I think that none of this conversation is weighted enough toward the organizing spark that this could serve as, to do this not alone in a vacuum, but in conjunction with labor, in conjunction with activists, in conjunction with the millions of people who were mobilized in the street this summer.
But I don't think it will be a mobilizing spark. I think fundamentally...
Organized labor isn't going to go the fuck near that up or down vote or threatening the speaker. No fucking way is organized labor going to try to threaten the speaker without a plan for a replacement that can actually succeed. This is Game of fucking Thrones.
Well, it's nonsense, because I think this would just depress people. I think people, elected representatives would not want to touch another M4A vote with a shitty stick for a very, very long time, because it will lose embarrassingly. And B, people will go, oh, see, we tried and got nothing. Oh, and the left would just be depressed by it.
Well, again, I think Brianna points here to what her purpose is, which is to identify Dems to primary, because they didn't vote for the bill that was never going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
Which I don't think is a very successful strategy.
No. Shall we?
I mean, hey, can I just say, it's going to be one thing if you put up those kind of votes to take down Republicans. If you make them take uncomfortable for votes, that happens cross-party all the time. But I don't really see how it helps you get bills passed if you embarrass your own members and basically announce, this is our list for who we're going to primary. How do you then work with these people for the next 2 years when they know you're coming at them?
Yeah.
Are they going to want to compromise with you and work with you? I mean, they might do professionally, but they also then might just, completely trash you or not work with you at all. So again, I don't understand this as a strategy.
Well, for time's sake, because we're on a schedule, because you've got a thing to do, shall we move on to bookmarks?
Yeah. Should I go first?
If you want
to. Yeah, just because I don't have that many.
Okay.
So it should be pretty easy to get through. Okay, cool. Oh, wow, I was actually semi-prepared. I'm being faster than normal.
But no one can see it, because I'm still scrolling down my ones, sorry.
Okay. Right, this is mostly what I wanted to talk about, which is there's a Sargon video that I was going through looking for stuff he was doing about the American election, because I am particularly offended about his continued attacks on American democracy and trying to turn us into an authoritarian dictator state. But I did see this one about the racial distribution of the COVID vaccine, and I clipped this out. And as I say, but he's spreading straight up lies. And we can actually see in his video where he is debunked again by content that he is putting on screen. So I can't make this full screen, otherwise it's going to be too big for the quarter or 2/3 of the page. So I'll just play it from here.
Vaccines. Everyone's had vaccines. Like, these are not a big deal. It's just an injection. But then he goes up, and his is already depressed. And you can see the guy, as he's doing, he's kind of fiddling around with it. Like, what am I supposed to do with this? But he just carries on like he's just given the vaccine, even though the guy has clearly gone with that. And then the other women and they're all women and non-white people, get the actual vaccine. I'm thinking, wow, that's weird. The white man that is the one person who doesn't get it. I mean, Bill Gates is a white man. I don't want him to be racially discriminated against when it comes to these COVID vaccines, and I'm really worried about this now. I think there might actually be some racial discrimination against white men in particular, but white people in general, about getting this vaccine. And it could well be that this mistake was actually a consequence of unconscious bias or something like that.
No, that's simply not true, Carl. It was conscious bias. It's all part of the white genocide. Hail Soros.
So while he's coming up with this bullshit conspiracy theory that tries to make white men the victims even though they're not.
Well, that's his entire business model. Is that make white men the seem like a victim?
Yes. The screen itself shows a quote from UMC, some university, I assume. After numerous reports emerged on social media claiming one of the 5 nurses receiving a vaccination on Tuesday did not receive a full dose of vaccine, we want to remove any doubt raised that he was not fully vaccinated and further strengthening confidence in the vaccination process. The nurse in question today was vaccinated again. UMC has confirmed with the U.S. Advisory Committee on Immunizations that revaccinating the nurse will not cause adverse effects. The nurse will need to return after 3 weeks to receive his second dose. So basically, it was a screw up and they fixed it. That was the worst thing that happened here.
No, it was white genocide.
Yeah, but according to Carl, white men are at risk in terms of vaccine distribution.
Yeah, Carl, you're a dangerous idiot. YouTube should remove you.
That video, I fully think, is reportable for being misleading.
Yeah.
And like most of his content, he doesn't actually get to the thing that the video's title is about till later on. But earlier in the video, the reason he brought up Bill Gates was because Bill Gates said he didn't want to jump his spot in line to get the vaccine earlier than he would have gotten it. And Sargon's like, oh, well, you're old and, you're probably in that category. Look, Ian McClellan got it. Oh, look, here's another person who got it. Why won't you get it? I don't even know what the point of the first 10 minutes of the video were. But then he finally got to his racist agenda.
Well, I have to say, it is annoying. This is nothing to do with what Carl said, but it is annoying that people like Ted Cruz and the like got their vaccinations first when they've done nothing but try and downplay it and be
fucking Marco Rubio. Yeah.
Well, fucking because he's in an at-risk old people group. Rupert Murdoch got one, right? Whilst at the very same time he had his paid employee Tucker Carlson on air. Spouting vaccine denial bullshit.
Yeah,
or anti-vax bullshit, yeah. It's disgusting.
Yeah. What else did I have? Oh, yeah, my D&D players, like I said, I set them in a possible, I thought, task and a possible one, thinking they'd pick the possible one, and instead they got both. And I'm so proud of them, they defeated me.
Also, have you seen that show, The Goldbergs? It's very good. Well,
no,
good.
No, I've not.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Just the whole world to the UK and its new COVID strain.
Yeah, they've pulled a Paul Blart, absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know why I bookmarked my own show, but oh yes, also there are actually 2 Floater Eaters channels.
Are there? Okay.
Yeah, one's of the podcast and the other one shows stuff like this. Have a read of that title.
Interview with AFD Berlin youth leader Vadim Dirksen. Jesus. So just some Nazi stuff. Okay,
yeah.
Good.
Basically.
That's not terribly worrying. Well, that's awesome.
Yep. Also, this origins of intersectionality, which I showed on
Black people.
Yeah, a far more educated, eloquent, and successful Black woman contributed intellectually to the world, and Carl got really upset.
Of course.
At that. Okay, that was it. I'm done. I told you it was gonna be fast. Are you ready with yours? Oh, I can play the intro to the show again if you want while you get yours up, if I'm still on screen.
Yeah.
You're right.
But it's not being shown because I'm Baby pig!
There's a new intro music.
Baby pig. Yes. Are we on... Hang on, no, I need to go on to... Oh, no, it was being... No, it wasn't. I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway. Enough of this.
Alright, you have to screen share with me.
No, I don't. Don't tell me what to do. There you go.
Be contrary.
Indeed. This harsh, but I like discipline, okay? All boys with long hair must be tied up. Thank you.
I mean, I'm on board.
Yeah.
Don't go in the store if you don't want to be tied up, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Was it Debbie? Did Debbie make that sign?
Yes. Although I've just noticed that it says, I think boys there has been photoshopped. So God knows what it actually said. Probably said girls, probably, didn't it? Anyway. Yes. That's a cute cat. Look how pink those beans are.
Oh,
that is legendary bean action.
Sweetie.
Sleepy Pupper.
Oh, so comfy with the pillows and the blankies.
So warm. Lovely.
Mm-hmm.
Butt pillow. Always good.
You've used Rory for a butt pillow, right?
He's used me for a butt pillow. Anyway. Oh, this was just weird. The Democratic Party is following the same path as Hitler. Get rid of certain races while promoting others. Get rid of babies and the elderly.
What the what? What is that even? That's so divorced from reality.
I don't know what that.
It's because women aren't being forced to deliver every time they get pregnant. That they have some autonomy over their body.
Yeah.
Apparently, that offends him.
And going around literally killing all old people. That's a thing.
Getting rid of certain races. What the fuck does that even mean?
White genocide. I think this was just quite a cool image. It's the topography of California. Look at that big fucking
cool.
valley.
Like in 3D.
Fucker. Anyway, so yeah, that's a thing. Anyway.
Yeah, that's cool.
Jimmy Dore. What's this? Something about Jimmy Dore. We've already covered that prick. Going about Tulsi, yeah. He's a Tulsi stan, but he's so leftist, you know. Yeah, this is MAGA in a nutshell. Wait, what? I don't understand.
Pretty much always.
Yeah. The Cats Can Has Cheeseburger has come to reality. Yeah.
It's true.
Go on, lad.
It's true. Yeah, it's the best thing ever. Cheese and meat.
Yeah. What's this? Oh yeah, a 9-year-old in Michigan nailed the one sentence description of 2020. Like looking both ways before crossing the street and then getting hit by a submarine.
That's awesome. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Pim Tool.
Yeah. Fucking hell, Timple. Going about Nick Fuentes, the Nazi. You got a $100 super chat and described Nick as, quote, a commentator, an America First commentator. So not Holocaust denying lunatic, no, just a commentator. A cute nope.
Because he's so centrist. Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
That's snow, by the way, if people didn't get it right away.
Yeah, Rory Katz doesn't like snow either. I mean, he will go out if he absolutely has to, but...
Yeah, I can even picture how the cat put its paw down and then picked it up and shook it.
Yeah, just shook it and then put it back down as like, I'm not going out there. It's covered in that stuff, whatever that cold shit is. It's horrible. This is just quite funny. Do you want to read out red or blue?
I'll be blue.
Go on then. Damn, nice tits.
This is her man's.
Tell her I said nice tits.
Where the fuck do you want to be buried?
In them titties.
Touche.
Nice.
Touche.
Indeed. This is... Right, we're going to get into the Scottish patter, right? I found this
excellent.
Amazing thing, because I know you like the Manky Swans Can He Read?
Oh, yeah.
Scotland is a very weird place. It's a very, very weird place. And Scottish patter is a fantastic thing if you want the account on Twitter.
I should follow that.
It's the most deliciously sweary thing because it's about Scottish people who swear all the time. They use the C word with a liberality that would get them cancelled in America within seconds.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
So, someone getting a present.
What did I say?
Let me see it. It says, "It's almost Christmas and I have noticed that you have been very good this year. Your name is on my present list here in the North Pole. My elves are working hard so we can get your gifts ready."
Oh wait, I'll shut my pants.
He's not listening to her at all. He's thinking about his poo.
Yeah, he stood up, and instantly I was thinking, what's he stood up like that for? Oh, he shit himself. Okay, fair enough. Yeah. Get ready for an amazing C-bomb here. And note the gendered way, or the non-gendered way it's used. Americans.
Yeah, if you have a problem with the C word, maybe take your headphones out for a second, because there's one coming, I'm sure, if Kevin's warning us.
Right, car. Right, next one, we're still on curly cat. We've got one of these. Cat, yeah. Mum thinks Dad's one of these. Right, we ready?
Cunt.
I'm keeping that. I need to keep that.
Oh, this one's fucking mental. This one's so mad. I'll read the thing out here.
More C-bombs coming in.
What the actual fuck just happened? Some shitey cunt took a shite in my garden. Never seen this cunt in my life. Is the caption there.
What are you doing, you fucking clown? You just took a shite in my garden, you freak.
Clean it up.
Here, you come anywhere near me.
I'm sorry.
Get the here. Here, look at the state you. You just... I'm cleaning it up. Here. You just took a shite in my garden. You just took a... Oh, here. That's brilliant, huh? Look at him running. Yeah. That's fucking exceptional. Oh.
Took a shit in his garden and then ran away.
Can you imagine? You're sort of sitting in your front room or your kitchen. You just made a cup of tea. You start to put the mug to your lips, and you see someone. They look like a whole line of shit. Like he was walking while he did it. Did you see? I assume.
I think it was piss as well. Look, that's the dump, and then there's a piss trickle as well. It's what it looks like.
You're speaking from experience.
Well, I know how hills work, and it's a liquid. So anyway, this is quite nice. This was the road gritter tracker, right, in Scotland, and they've all got amazing names. There's some funny one. Ready, Spready, Go. It's a nice one.
That's good.
BFG, Big Friendly Gritter. Yes, Ice Can Boogie is nice. But my personal favourite, Spready Mercury.
Oh, that's good. I like the one go all the way up north.
Gangster Granny Gritter. Nice. Nice. Anyway, so this.
But yeah, Spready Mercury is pretty
Spready Mercury is an amazing pun. Well done. You've heard of leggings. Now get ready for greggings.
Oh no. Oh please no. Oh that's terrible.
That's an abomination, isn't it?
That is a cringe. What do you call it? Nightmare fuel. No, what do you call it? The images
Cursed
that you put
image.
up first. Cursed, yes. If you've
greggings.
I mean, at least the M&S thing about whatever Santa sexual thing was kind of witty. That's just,
It's horrible, isn't it? This guy keeps getting scared, basically.
Get to.
God, I would hate to work with that
I'm not very dirty, are they? Big power.
guy. That guy should go to his house at 5 a.m. and do this back to him.
Here we go. Fuck off, ball man.
Oh, I think we've watched it twice now.
No, it's these are different. But there's one
God.
I'm waiting.
Okay.
There's one I'm waiting for. Hang on.
Fuck man.
He gets his eyes on the shitter.
Oh God. Honestly, this guy should be done for this. Oh, can you imagine having to work with that guy? What a nightmare.
Yeah.
What a
Although I
fucking
wouldn't
nightmare.
eventually, I'd just be like, what are you making a noise for? It wouldn't scare. Why does he keep getting scared by that? It's so strange. Anyway.
Well, obviously he shouldn't ever fall asleep in that van. He should
yeah.
definitely have 4 cups of coffee before he gets gets to work. Oh my god.
You don't see him?
Yeah.
Oh, what has he done? What has he done?
Well, it's a toilet. What did he say?
He's done a fucking shite. It's true. Can't argue with that.
Well, I mean, it is the little porta potty. That's where it's supposed to be done.
Yeah. See, I want to see if you can work out what's being said in this bit. Okay.
Okay.
Hey, son, come here. Come here, son. I'll give you a sweet if you come in my car. You give me the whole packet, I'll come in your mouth. Hey, son.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I
Pretty
understood the whole
Pretty
thing.
good.
So witty, so quick.
Yeah.
So quick.
Oh, this is mental.
By the way, the people in the chat need that to be translated
Possibly.
into English.
Yeah. Do you want?
All right,
you
so
tell
the guy-
me what he said then.
All right. The guy came out of the shop and he went, "Oi, laddie, whatever, come here. If you get in my car, I'll give you a sweetie." And the guy said to him, "If you give me the whole packet, I'll come in your mouth."
Well, specifically the joke is he says, "If you come in my car," and he says, "Oh, if
Exactly.
you come in my mouth." Yeah. This is my. That's supposed to be what, right? But that's they spell it Scottish style. What is
Wit.
What is going?
Wit is good.
Yeah. What?
No, you gotta do. Wit is good. Go ahead. Go on. Do it. Do a Scottish
No,
accent.
I need to translate because Scottish isn't really English, is it? Anyway.
Oh, can I do it then? Can I do it? Can I do
well,
my
this is going to be
interpretation?
offensive. I apologise to the people of Scotland
No.
in advance.
What is going on with this cunt's jeans are back to front?
Fucking hell. Again, I can only apologise.
That's not too bad.
Yeah, what's going on with this guy? His jeans are on back to front. What the fuck? It's just weird. It's weird. That's strange.
How do you do that? How do you do the? I guess you could. I've never put my trousers on backwards. I've had ones that have been zipped up the back, but there's usually the small of the back, not all the way down.
I've never tried it. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, more children swearing.
So this is what my mum's made for dinner. It's rotten. She's fucked it up.
Oscar! If you don't bloody like it, you can make your own fucking dinner.
Leave down in the comments if my mum's to get a better cook.
There you go.
or she to make my dinner or I too.
I love that when he says, leave a comment, and she goes, leave home!
Yeah, Scottish families are a little bit different.
It's rotten. She's fucked it up.
You say, make your own fucking dinner.
Yeah, even in Scotland, Amazon aren't quite the great thing here. Thanks, Amazon, for hiding my parcel. Yeah, fair. Oh, this... I laughed so hard at this. Right, tried to take a nice picture of my bird friend, but he did the worst shite I've ever seen in my life. Look at that, it's like a fucking hose. And then there's this one. These ones here, where it's, look, I've fallen in love with this guy over weeks, tracking him down, but now he's just a big shiter. Fucking Christ. Okay, we move on from Scottish banter to American banter, I suppose.
Yeah,
right.
Nonsense.
Linwood, crazy Trump lawyer type person with Sidney Powell and all that jazz. Instead of putting under penalty of perjury, literally signed the legal document under plenty of perjury.
Well, I mean, you're saying the quiet part out loud.
I mean, and someone contacted me and said that they work or had worked as an intern at a law office, and they said in documents like that, if someone applied to join that organisation and they had even a single spelling mistake in their document, it's true they weren't good enough to get into the legal firm, and they would just shred the thing.
Yeah.
That's how they get treated.
Yeah.
And yet,
despite what Carl says about Sidney Powell messing up all of her filings.
Yeah. Under plenty of perjury. You fucking knob.
Oh, I want to make that like my image on my Twitter now, like my banner image.
Yeah. So this is quite funny when you get the picture, right? So that's the Mitch McConnell, blah blah blah, and someone says, "I had to do a double take on this photo."
I did too.
Yeah,
I really did.
Pointy.
I mean, it's on brand for him.
Yeah.
KKK, yeah. Totally on brand for him. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Pence said, I didn't feel a thing, and then someone says, also his response when asked about 300,000 plus dead Americans.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, do you have Eddie Izzard in your bookmarks?
I don't think I do, but yeah, Eddie Izzard is... Well, Eddie Izzard was always sort of trans. I don't know if that word sort of trans is a thing, but yeah.
Well, no, I mean, I don't know, sort of get what you're saying, but I often, reflecting back now, so I love Eddie. Have basically since I've seen her comedy like from the start.
Yeah.
I actually had the privilege of seeing her live in Colchester. I couldn't get any tickets to her English show when she was out there defending the EU, but I did see her perform in French and German. Yeah. So that was fun. But yeah, I think for me, watching her over the years, she used to say, you know, I'm a transvestite in a lesbian's body. Or something, or a trans dresser, or whatever it was. I don't know what the term was being used at the time, but the idea that it was cross-dressing, but also same-sex, or attraction, well, back at the time, right? Attraction to women. And so, yeah, like, was that just a matter of, I mean, I'm not questioning, I'm saying, like, is that a path that she was on, or was this an issue for her that she just didn't feel like society was ready for her to be herself, or, yeah.
No, but that's what I mean when I say sort of trans. It was sort of murky as to exactly what was going on there. Because there were definitely... I mean, she'd been a cross-dresser as part of her stand-up act and stuff for years. But they weren't playing it for laughs. It was just they'd come on stage dressed as a woman.
She wore whatever the fuck she wanted.
Yeah. And then sometimes she'd come out dressed just as you would expect, like a man to dress or whatever. Like, it wasn't clear what was going on there, whether it was a cross-dressing or a trans... Anyway, and they went by... she or he for years, and then the other day came out as and now they just go by she, her pronouns. Yeah. So that's pretty cool. I don't know if that's the end of that, whether there's surgery involved or whatever. I don't know, but yeah, good for Eddie.
Yeah,
awesome
absolutely.
comedian as well.
Amazing, yeah. And I thought it would be, you know, on our show, if he wasn't in your bookmarks, then we should make a little space in the show to celebrate it.
Absolutely, yeah. Some good trans news. There's unfortunately we're on an island of plague rats and turfs, but there are some good people too. So.
Yeah, and I mean it's not her job, but I would hope that because so many people for decades have loved Eddie, that her coming out to say this will make some people maybe rethink some of their views or reconsider some of the things that they ally themselves with, because you know, maybe they don't know somebody trans in their life, or they don't care about somebody trans in their life, but they do know her, and they do kind of, they appreciate her comedy. So it might soften some hearts. Let's keep our fingers crossed.
Yeah, indeed. What are cats?
Well, I mean, fair dues. It is completely a booby trap or a bait for a cat. That.
But yeah, I mean, but they keep going. Oh yeah, Michael Rappaport joined Parler. So did I actually. Should I show you my Parler? You presume you probably didn't watch yesterday because you were doing a thing, weren't you? But
I was doing a thing at exactly the same time you were trolling on Parler.
This is my account.
If it's still there.
If it's still there, I presume it
the ghost of Chavez.
The ghost of Chavez. As you go there, I am the mighty apparition of Hugo Chavez, and I come to steal all of your elections, bitches.
Love it.
Yeah, I've got 3 comments. No way. You are literally a living. And that's hang on. That's what I.
Yeah, maybe you have to click on it. So? Well, there's one wanking into horse manure, but you do that anyways. There's something.
That was a good one. Thanks. Okay, cool. I've got 3 followers. Okay.
Woohoo.
Oh, that's Tom. That's the person from Twitter. Hello, I'll follow you back. Doesn't really make any difference because I'm never going to be here, but whatever. And then 2 other people. Anyway, yeah. So that's what I did. Oh, and I signed up for loads of others as well. I signed up for
you could.
Freedom Book as Kamal Toe.
Oh,
was good. I got one as Hugh Jass. Was another one.
Great.
And Pucker Carlson was another one.
So you've got 4 accounts.
No, not on Parler. I've got one on Parler, one on Freedom Book. There's one called USA.life. And what was the other one? MAGA Book. MAGA Book actually censored me. I was outraged.
Yeah?
I was outraged, I was.
But the freedoms of the speeches.
The freedoms of the speeches, yeah.
If you did it beforehand and found some really ridiculous Parler posts, I think you could do a regular Parler trolling segment on the show.
Possibly so. Possibly so. We'll
Like a couple times a week, once or twice a week. Just check in.
As Kamal Toe, right? I put "you lost, get the fuck over it," and they asterisked the fuck. I was outraged, Kristi. I've been censored.
No swearing. They are very virtuous fascists there.
I was about to say, well, they'd have to censor Donald Trump quite often then.
They want to control your speech and your body, but they want in the name of freedom. Kevin.
Also, note the avatar there.
What is that, bikini?
No,
or is it
that's the foot of a camel.
Oh, I see. It's the front part of a camel because of camel toe. Got it. It was kind of hard to make out because it's very small.
Very, very clever. Anyway.
Yes,
Parler.
Michael.
What's up? It's me. It's Michael Rappaport. I don't know why I'm wearing the glasses. I'm trying to be incognito because I'm so fucking glad to be on Parler. I am so sick of these other social media apps. Every single time I'm on one of these other apps, Twitter.
Hang on, I'll play this through, but I'm going to go for a piss while it happens.
Oh, okay.
Because I already know what happens. That's why. Anyway.
All right, we're going to watch it. Yeah, hopefully. No, it's fair use. It's still fair use. I'll laugh. That'll make it fair use.
Instagram, TikTok. Every single time I say something, they get so mad at me. Like I did a video the other day, and I said, pig dick Donald Trump, dick stain Donald Trump. January 20th, 2021, pack your fucking shit and get the fuck out of the White House, okay? Because if you don't pack your shit, we're gonna smoke you out. And people got so upset, and they're like, you should go to Parler, bro. You should go to Parler. So here I am. I'm on Parler where I could speak freely about this fucking slob, this corrupt slob, and I can't wait. I'm sure you guys can't wait. Also, January 20th, pig dick Donald Trump, miserable Melania, icky Ivanka, dick stain Donald Trump Jr., and big dumb Eric Trump. They're all getting the fuck out of the White House. Anyway, I'm trying to get verified. I'm trying to get my name. My name on here now is Rappacrap, which is a name they used to call me when I was young. I used to think it was funny, but I think Michael Rappaport, for some reason, is taken. But if anybody could help me get my name, Michael Rappaport, or the Michael Rappaport, or the real Michael Rappaport, or the disruptive Michael Rappaport, any of the above, please let me know and try to get me verified on Parler. Anyway, I'm excited to be here. Let's fucking go, man. Let's fucking go and let's fucking drain this swamp.
Oh, well, let's see how well Kevin timed this. Well, I guess now we all know, depending on how long this takes for him to return, that it takes Kevin under 2 minutes to go to the bathroom and come back. Does he leave you guys like this during the streams on Twitch when I'm not around?
No, I fucking don't. Actually,
you did pretty well.
Have.
It was only like about, I'd say, 10 or 15 seconds over. You could have been a little bit faster, but otherwise you're back, yeah.
Sorry, I did have to wash my fucking hands. I could come back with pissy hands.
Did you have to dry them, though?
Yeah.
Did you have to dry them, though?
Yeah.
No, you can just dry them on your shirt while you're on your way back. Anyway, it's fine.
You disgust me. Oh, oh, God. Who gets this?
Is that Twilight?
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Also,
in like 20 years here.
Butt crack.
Oh, that's sexy. I like that part. I'll look at that instead of the artwork, to be honest.
Yeah, it's just ugly. It's so ugly.
All that, I mean, the artwork itself, whoever the artist is, did a fine job, but why?
Yeah, why?
Like, if this was a sketch that, like some college freshman drew, or even a graduate, like as a present on regular paper, I would be impressed. I just feel bad for this person. Oh.
Anyway. Oh, Jesus. Right. I say on January this again, this is from Parler, lots of violence and stuff. I say on January the 6th, we show up our support for Trump by showing up and fully armed and ready to battle in DC. If the Supreme Court is too afraid of a little tantrum thrown by BLM and Antifa to rule in the favour of law and order, then let us show up fully armed and put the fear of God into those commie summer bitches with an army of 80 million plus armed patriots.
So you're saying you're going to start a civil war over Trump?
Also, motherfucker, you couldn't get 80 million votes. What do you mean 80 million armed patriots? Shut up.
Good point. But honestly, I mean, why don't you understand what the Supreme Court's decision was, as opposed to mischaracterizing it? I mean, that would require, I don't know, some intellectual honesty, but it's Parler, so.
Indeed. Oh, Lawrence fucking Fox. He's going to get people killed. Take off your masks. Gather in groups, love, hug, and toast each other this Christmas. Question every word this on the hoof arbitrary and extremist government feeds you. They are lost. Your freedom is on the line. Stand down Boris Johnson. # reclaim our lives.
Honestly, what a load of shit. He is going to get people killed by advocating for that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's really irresponsible. I mean, I understand he's exercising his free speech rights, but he's advocating for the spread of a deadly disease, and I think you need to balance those things out.
Yeah. And Boris
We're
Johnson's
not talking
doing
about opinions here. These are facts.
Yeah, Boris Johnson's doing an appallingly bad job. But
oh God,
But
yes.
Lawrence Fox wants him to get rid of the only thing that he's doing at all that's positive. Yes. Like the tier system's a joke and all the rest of it. But the fact there are some restrictions is good. But that's the bit that Lawrence objects to.
You guys are getting cut off in your airlines everywhere because this strain is more contagious. It's not more deadly. It doesn't produce different symptoms. It just spreads so much faster. So, don't hug each other at Christmas. Like, air hug from socially distanced distances.
But can we share spit? Because that's a big Christmas tradition here.
Yeah,
Is that okay? I think so. I think that'd be all right. No, don't do that.
Yeah, right after the Queen's speech is the sharing of the spit.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
You all pass around a bowl, you put your face in it, you blow your nose in it, you wash your hands, and then you pass it on, the next person does the same.
Some savages do it before the Queen's speech. It's disgraceful. Anyway, someone who definitely understands how the UN works, from Parler. Thank you, Mr. President. Great. Now get rid of the United Nations.
What?
That the President Trump has the power to just arbitrarily get rid of the United Nations.
Do you know how sovereignty works?
That's a thing, isn't it? Yeah. They've got one joke, everyone. Donald Trump Jr. I identify as just a really aggressive female. Okay, guys, that's it. The way I'm covered, they can't cancel me.
You're more likely to get canceled from your own side, mate. Yeah. Honestly. God, he's a piece of shit. I'm waiting for the investigations in New York to really proceed. And start getting this paperwork.
Yeah. If only we could hold these motherfuckers to it. If Trump loses, I will slam my dick in a car door.
I mean, you're the one who put that out there. No one forced you to make that offer. But we need to hold it to you. Find that account.
Yeah.
Because you're on there now, QA, and follow them or him, looks like. It might be a them, but I doubt it on Parler. And ask, did you put your dick in the car door? Can you get a video of it? And don't go back on your word, you piece of shit.
Yeah. This is quite funny. The best stimulus, a job, the thing from Jim Jordan. Someone says, false, it's prostate. Decent retort. Here's I won't play it, but the Boston police laughing about having physically assaulted protesters.
Great, arrest him.
Yeah. This is like fascism as imagined by sitcom writers. Yep. Mm-hmm. Cursed image?
Oh my God, those are wings. Oh jeez.
Yeah. I think the people on Parler might be mental. Don't know about you, but they might just be ridiculous human beings who need to fucking stop.
Yeah. I mean, at some point we're going to look back in history and say, okay, this is when they became a militia, and...
Yeah. Why horny on Maine? I bet Sydney, I presume referring to Sydney Powell, is a tiger in the sack, just saying.
Even if you thought that, why would you put that out there?
It's so weird.
Honestly.
It's so weird. Oh, Jesus Christ. Talking of the UN, combating the glorification of Nazism, neo-Nazism, and other practices that contribute to the fueling contemporary forms of, and then it's anti-Semitism, right? 2 votes against, so 2 votes in favour of the glorification of Nazism.
Mm-hmm.
United States.
The United States and the Ukraine.
And Ukraine. Okay.
Are you telling me Russia voted against this? I'm looking for the Russian Federation voted in favor.
Yeah, so that's fair enough.
Under Romania. Yeah. So yes,
But
I mean I don't understand why the U.S. didn't follow Russia's lead there.
Abstentions, right? God, the United Kingdom, naturally. Fucking disgusting. But then, also, interestingly, Germany.
Yeah, that's weird. Where is this from? Is this
You fucking kidding?
Is this the GA in the UN? I'm looking Assembly 75.
Yeah. This is a vote at the UN. So these are all official UN votes. This is the actual tally.
Can you type Germany abstains on UN Nazi vote and just see what comes up? Because I'm quite interested to see.
EU. Oh, so all of the EU countries, including Germany.
Can you click on it and find out why? Oh, it was a Russia-backed? What? Russian-backed resolution?
The European Union's member states have voted en masse for a United Nations resolution against... have abstained en masse, sorry. In all 155, which was presented by Russia under the title Glorification and Racism, Racial Discrimination, Xenophobia and Related Intolerance. 3 countries voted in favour... voted on Friday... It says Canada voted against it as well. Did it?
That didn't look right. I thought they were an abstention.
Canada seems to
That's
be
an error.
abstention. Okay. Speaking of the European Voice before, the Lithuanian Foreign Minister Linus Linkevicius said that no one should doubt that it could do always. There's NBA players. There's always good NBA players from Lithuania. Anyway.
Of course, it's a sports knowledge dip.
Of course it is. No one should doubt that we are condemning fascism, he continued, but under cover of this condemnation, Russia is pursuing its own agenda.
Oh, what's that?
De facto,
I'm curious. Yeah. I'm glad we went down this rabbit hole.
Yeah. De facto, Russia is trying to attack the Baltic states and determine history in its own way. Really? In 1940, the Soviet Union, whose legal successor Russia, invaded the 3 Baltic states, Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, and occupied them for more than 4 decades. In early November, Russia's President Vladimir Putin defended the Soviet Union's partition of Poland with Nazi Germany in 1939 under the terms of the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact. Serious research has shown that such methods were part of foreign policy at the time, he said. The Soviet Union signed a non-aggression pact with Germany. What is wrong here is if the Soviet Union did not wish to fight. What is wrong with this? Linkevicius said it was insulting that a country, quote, that is conducting aggression against neighbouring states in a brutal way, a reference to Russia's invasion of Georgia, annexation of Ukraine, the Crimea, and continued support for Eastern Ukraine, could put forward this resolution. Russia's foreign minister said that no votes by the US, Canada and Ukraine were extremely regrettable, adding that Ukraine's position is particularly dispiriting and alarming. The EU's decision to abstain from the vote was also maintained by Cyprus, Greece, EU states with traditionally close ties to Russia. Most would-be members of the EU also abstained, including Albania, blah, 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 blah.
Iceland, Montenegro, and Macedonia. Yeah. Skip down to the UN vote was discussed.
Also, it's called North Macedonia now, dickheads. Which bit, sorry?
The UN vote was discussed.
The UN vote was discussed by EU foreign ministers last Monday, 17th of November, at a meeting that saw a number of ministers push for efforts at the EU level to counter what is seen as a long-term campaign by Russia to use propaganda to retain influence over countries in the EU and Russia's shared neighbourhoods. If we care about littering of the oceans, let's also care about the littering of minds, Linkevicius said, noting that Russia's misleading messages, lies and tricks have been really very, very efficient. Okay, but I mean, it's... Is there still something I'm missing, though? Because if it's saying we shouldn't glorify Nazism, I still don't get why you wouldn't vote for that.
Yeah, I think the agenda here is not, as I said, about stopping fascism or the glorification of it, but from how I'm interpreting what they said, Russia wants to basically use this to leverage pro-Soviet discussions in their former states. So to make the Soviet Union the good guys against the fascists, I guess. But again, I have a hard time too seeing on the face of it the problem, but I don't know how. Look, Russia fucking attacked us again recently. They fucked with our 2016 elections. They've been using Trump as a puppet to, screw over the Kurds and give up things in Syria. Not like with a smart plan, but a surrender plan. So I understand their suspicions. It doesn't necessarily look good, and I don't know that it actually does anything. So this to me seems more symbolic. But yeah, it's not a great look, which is probably why Russia did it. We talked before about making people vote for things politically that make them uncomfortable in order to make a point, and this seems like that's what Russia is trying to do.
Okay.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, another right winger. Again, they're conservatism is a death cult. We've discussed that before, and it's projection. We've discussed that before.
Yes.
And here we go. He's pro-incest, paedophilia, and rape. He's also running for Congress. Blah 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 blah.
From his parents' house.
Yeah. Nathan Larson of Catlett arrested in Denver on kidnapping and child pornography charges. Former candidate for 31st District, white supremacist advocate for pedophilia.
Yep.
He abducted a 12-year-old.
Jeez.
And took her on a plane from, I believe, California to Colorado. Although apparently there was what they described as inappropriate touching, but no actual sexual
assault.
On the actual girl. So that's something, I suppose, but still he was in possession of child pornography. And he kidnapped a 12-year-old,
Yeah, and took her across state lines, which I think automatically makes it a federal offense. Maybe the states will want jurisdiction first, but he could go to federal prison and good.
Yeah, and paedophiles always get on really well in prison. Other prisoners are totes okay with pedophiles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, good shanking to you, Nathan.
Yeah, I'm sure Carl won't cover that on his show.
No.
Tim Pool won't bring that guy up.
No.
Andy No won't be covering that. Dave Rubin won't have him on as a guest.
Palate cleanser definitely needed. Kind of.
Oh, yeah. It is tis the season for cats and Christmas trees.
Another cat in a Christmas tree.
It's their instinct. They can't help it.
Another cat in a Christmas
tree. They need
to
be there.
There's lots of cats in Christmas trees, is the point.
It is the season.
I've been watching a bit of the TPUSA fest. It's good. 3 fucking days. Like they needed 3 days for their conference.
What?
Anyway.
Oh, they really wanted everyone to get COVID.
Yeah. I saw when Tucker Carlson walked out, and he was like a rock star. They treated him like he was a rock, and I just thought this is the most pathetic thing I've ever fucking seen. You people are embarrassing.
And they vote.
Yeah. Unfortunately so. And they had a money cannon. A money cannon. At a time when people are like losing their jobs and homes. Money cannon.
Oh, well, I mean, the right worships money.
Yeah.
It helps them maintain power.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a means to an end for them, and that's why they hoard it and they don't want to give it up.
Yeah, so money cannon.
And COVID's super spreader event.
Yeah, super optics, guys. Super optics. This is amazing. Which one do you want to be?
I'll take a spiky neighborhood thembo. Money is fake. Use cum as currency.
So you want only men to have currency? I've never seen a woman come. Yeah, that's
wonderful.
That's on you, dude.
That's perfect cell phone. Really?
You posted your own L on that one, my friend.
Yeah, exactly. You pick those words and then hit tweet. Yeah. Or retweet or reply.
After being spotted eating sugarcane, baby elephant tries to hide behind a light pole. But
wasn't me.
What elephant?
Wasn't me.
What elephant?
Yeah.
I don't see an elephant there.
It's camouflage. Amazing.
I don't see any elephant. That's okay. Anyway. Oh God. Cancelling, I suppose. Maybe. Does this count?
Oh, is it time?
No. Do you want me to play the thing? Okay.
Logan's amazing conservatives of cancel culture. Cocks. And penis.
There you go. I'm not accusing, I repeat, I'm not accusing her. Now, with that out of the way, let's play a game. The what if game. What if even Melania is playing Trump like a good deep state pawn she might be? Kristi. Kristi? Hello? What happened there? Kristi's disappeared. Hang on, stop sharing. Where's Kristi gone to? She's dropped out of the chat. Apologies, everyone. Okay, well, I don't know what happened there. I'll put you back onto the picture for a second. Enjoy that delicious image, and I'll try and track down what the fuck's happened to Kristi. Maybe it's possible that her internet's gone out. It's possible that Germany is spontaneously combusted. Who knows? Who knows? I mean, it doesn't matter so much if she doesn't necessarily... Hang on, is she back?
I'm back.
Oh, you're back. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hello.
Well, what happened there?
I put an open in the chat.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Whoop.
Anyway.
I don't know. My internet dropped. So.
Okay. Well, did you get to the? Did you hear me read out the man here? The conservatives.
No, I
the
did
cancel
not.
culture. Okay. Well, I'll read it again. I'm not accusing. I repeat, I'm not accusing her. Now, with that out of the way, let's play a game. The what if game. What if even Melania is playing Trump like a good deep state pawn she might be? Okay, babe.
Really, people?
Yeah.
Really?
Okay.
Really? Oh my God! It will never stop. The purity will never stop. No one can ever be loyal now.
I think the most appropriate location I've ever seen for a Trump campaign, outside of Babies R Us. Yep. Yep. That is true.
Yes.
Very true. Christmas is cancelled by surging mutant virus. And Stephen Mangan, the fine actor, says, "That's a bit harsh. Call him Prime Minister. Show some respect." Fair point.
Yeah, if you could see the preview of headlines for 2020 back in 2019, imagine how anxious we would have been.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's a repetition of the news that, in case anyone's just joining us, breaking news, China has invaded America. It's definitely,
through Maine.
Definitely true. Through Maine. Well, clearly they got intel from their North Koreans who were boating votes in through Maine, if you recall that Sidney Powell legendary claim. Or was that Rudy Giuliani? They all blend into one, who knows? What are cats?
I'm a little bit lagged because you're not sharing the screen with me, but I see they're so sweet.
Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah, because you pissed off.
Dropped out. Yeah.
Anyway.
Piss off. Dropped out.
Anyway, so, what are cats?
Oh, is that spaghetti?
It's one line of spaghetti. And this cat is now broken. This cat has now ceased to work. Look at that. It's gone into stasis. Because of
With that expression on its face.
Because of one line of spaghetti. What the fuck is wrong with you? Oh, bless.
Oh.
Again, a bit horny on Maine, this one. Trump is exhausting every legal option before he takes out his titanium cock. One word. Titanium cock.
Great. Okay.
Before he takes out his titanium cock out and starts breaking traitorous skulls with it. Okay. He's going to skull fuck you with his titanium cock. Okay. Trump has all the power and is not a coward or a quitter. Sit back and watch, people. Trump will return America to the patriotic and righteous people.
The cope isn't slowing down. Actually, it's escalating.
No, yeah. I've got another one coming, a compilation in the next few days.
Yeah, someone told me they subbed to your channel because they found your mega cringe videos.
I've got some new people.
Yeah,
That's just
they were asking me, "Oh, is Kevin going to make more cringe videos?" I'm like, I don't know. I'm not Kevin. I don't know what videos.
Well, I am.
And you are, okay.
There'll certainly be one before Inauguration Day and then probably several after because they are going to lose their shit. When the copium runs dry, which it obviously will because Trump won't be president anymore, that I can't imagine how mental they're going to go. But anyway, just a cute cat sleeping. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, Jesus, this is... I think the police might be racist. Black children were 6 times more likely to be shot to death by the police than white peers over a 16-year period in America.
And Hispanic children 3 times more likely.
3 times, yeah. I think the American police might be very, very racist.
Yeah, it's a reflection of the white supremacist history and institution and norms and structures and rewards and penalties for trying to transgress it that we have inherited since slavery. This is just 21st century echoes of slavery.
Yep. Oh, God, the Daily Mail. Fuck's sake, this is on their health section. If face masks really stop COVID, then why are so many of us still catching it?
Oh, jeez. Do you know what, guys? Oh my gosh! It's like saying, "Hey, there's a downpour, and 70% of people are using umbrellas. Why are 30% of people still getting wet?" Well,
it's even worse than that because that 30% are going around specifically splashing puddles at the 70%, and they're getting wet as well. Yeah.
Yes, precisely.
Because of dipshits like you, like stirring shit up, you fucking gobshites.
Honestly, maybe it was the article isn't as atrocious, and it's just these. What do you call it when you come up with the headlines? Clickbait. Is it headline editors?
Yeah.
With the position.
Whatever.
That person is just trash. They're doing it for the clicks.
They work for the Daily Mail, so that's I think probably a given. To be honest.
A given, yeah. Cash a paycheck from them.
This is a really beautiful thing, and there is some funny stuff, right? So where the fuck is this? It's in someone's hometown. Does it say where this person's from? No. Okay, never mind. Somewhere in Britain. COVID-19 has robbed so much from us this year, but there are still things we can be thankful for. And then I am thankful for, and you can go up and write in chalk on the board for stuff you like. And there's some beautiful stuff like firefighters, my mum, the NHS, some beautiful stuff, right? Someone wrote poggers. That's made its way into the real world. Thanks, guys. But I also love big balls, and then someone wrote a cock and balls. Someone did a cock and balls.
Of course.
But what I also love about that is next to the cock and balls is God and Jesus. So.
Yeah, it's St. James's Church.
St. James's Church, big balls, cock and balls, God, Jesus.
Wherever Devizes is town council.
Oh God, I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's have a look.
Oh man.
Devizes is in Wiltshire, so not far from Swindon's Wiltshire, isn't it? So.
I really just love the very Britishness of a probably Anglican church putting out a sign and then people writing big balls, God and Jesus.
Well, that's the real Holy Trinity, isn't it? What are cats? I mean, this one's a cloud, apparently.
A cloud with eyes.
Yeah.
Wow, amazing. That is just permanent cuteness. I would OD.
This cat's melted. It doesn't have a body.
Whenever it would want treats, I would have to give in.
Yeah,
I would just have no willpower. Look at how could you resist that? You can't.
Yeah,
there's an automatic fail on your roll to save again. Charisma save. There you go. There's some D&D stuff for you.
Is a cat falling over? Very cute.
Oh, he shook his head and he glassed his mouth.
Oh, bless.
But he's not so far down to the ground that it takes him very long to get up.
Yeah, exactly. That's the beauty of being short, yeah.
His legs are so stubby. Cats are liquid.
Bum, bum, bum. Another brick bites the dust.
Yeah,
the statue of Robert E. Lee from the crypt of the U.S. Capitol is being removed.
Nice. Good. Oh, right, because I think Nancy Pelosi was trying to get that done.
Yeah.
Yes, and so because she'd moved him to the basement to take him like off the great level, and with the support building up for the removal of Confederate statues, she's like, yeah, you know what? Actually, let's just kick him out of the house altogether.
Yeah, good.
Love it.
Good.
Yeah.
Again, horny on Maine. I have been on my knees for you every night, Senator. Fair enough.
Not probably what she meant, but I can see where you're going.
Just saying. Oh, Jesus. My take is Barr knows quite a bit. I believe he makes a better whiteness, I think they meant witness, than a prosecutor.
Yeah, we should talk about Barr.
I don't think this one will fade into the darkness of night. What say you? I say you're full of shit.
Yeah, Parler is probably already losing his shit as we speak, because Barr on his way out the door said there's no reason to like take machines from various voting machines, whatever, but to seize the machines because there wasn't any fraud, and they are going to lose their shit.
That's nice. Milo, it's time to be honest. Trump was a failure. Fun as fuck, but a failure.
Whoa. Wow, is he going to get hate for that take?
Oh, cancel culture, motherfuckers.
Are you following Milo on Parler?
No.
You may have to.
I don't want to, because he'll use it as a thing at one point. Like, I've got 10,000 followers, and I'll be like,
Or check him out, I guess, from time to time. But seriously, I'd love to see the comments. I'd love to see the replies on that one.
Yeah. Let's see.
Oh, are we going to wrap it up then after this?
Yeah.
I...
Oh, yeah, you've got to go. Sorry, we're done, people.
Okay.
We're done. Yeah, so all of you can fuck off.
You know how Kevin loves you guys.
I do. I genuinely do. Thank you to everyone. Thank you for all your support, especially around the gusset area. Oh, no, that's my pants I'm talking about. Sorry. No, thank you for all your support. On the show.
To the person who donated 25 and not doing it individually as 25 $1 donations. Thanks for that, too.
Indeed. I'm going to kick you over to Bad Bonnie. She's pretty cool. Anyway, yeah. That's if you're on Twitch. If you're on YouTube, you just go and watch whatever the fuck you want to watch from now. Thank you to everyone for listening and watching. I'll be back tomorrow at 7 PM UK time, 2 PM East Coast of Americana land, 7 AM Fiji time. Don't forget to give money to Fiji and those other nations dealing with the cyclone. Links below. Thank you all for listening and watching. Goodbye from me and goodbye from Kristi. Say goodbye, Kristi.
Goodbye, Kristi.